Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I hope we're well. I am fine. Sorry I'm on a bit late. I had to stop at the doctor's to refill my prescription for my colchicine for my foot, but all better now. So, well, we always start with gold, as we know that. So gold had its day today, but it's holding in nicely. Again, down $17, which means absolutely nothing. Uh, Gold is 2501. Not sure why I have such a light screen with this. All right. So 2501. So we had our run from about 8 o'clock. Again, it's Europe down till 2 o'clock today. But again, the US is closed on Monday for Labor Day. So they're probably making their big shot now, and it really didn't do much. It's still over 2,500, which is all we want. Ready to go to the store. Hey, Pat. We're going to do sports, but we can talk a little economics again. So 2501 gold and 2882 silver, which we understand that. Mark McGuire had Bill Holler on. It's like I'm listening to myself. Bill Holler steals all my stuff, all my thunder. But there's a few things we can say. Well, I guess we can make this. I was going to do a separate show, but I think we can make this one show. I'll have to adjust the title, but we can talk that. But I do have to talk college football first, but we can do both because it's later. So let's just do both. So anyway, so gold's a little bit down, but we understand it's derivative, so we don't care. I haven't really been home. I had to go to the market to get avocados. I went to the doctor to get my prescription. I'm kind of pissed about that. To get a refill on the prescription, I have to see the doctor. She happened to be Ukrainian, so I felt better. I says, "Are you Russian or Ukrainian?" She didn't want to say she was Russian. I says, "Oh, that's okay. My girlfriend's Ukrainian and Russian, but Ukrainian." So then she gave me a prescription for my colchicine for my foot. And we talked about what the hell is it so bad, and is it bone spurs? So I'm putting on the oil. What is it? What the hell is it called? Castor oil. I keep thinking of Richard Castor of the Jets. So I keep putting on castor oil, but it's only the third day, and I'm only doing it like I did it now just before the show, so I'll leave it on. But I will maybe do it tonight also. And I don't know, it's getting a little better, but is it the gout? Do I have bone spurs or do I have gout? And so I'm gonna assume I have both. I can have both. So I'm gonna try to kill if it's a bone spur and basically try to kill. I was fine in the pool today. I was able to run fairly good. I had to go there early because they're having a swim meet and my lane won't be available. I swim in a 5-foot lane. I run in it. Wouldn't be available at after 1. So I got there by 10:30, 11. Got there, ran to get avocados at Walmart, ran to the doctor's. I did not get my prescription. I'll go tomorrow. I'm fine with that. And anyway, so let's talk football. So we just talked gold. We'll get to Mark McGuire later. Now we had Alex on and his little crazy bet taking. So let's talk college football first. And Alex comes in with his crazy pick. without knowing. And the ironic part was he wasn't even close. The quarterback he thought was going to play didn't even play. He gets pretty lucky in the fact that okay. He gets pretty lucky in the fact that they actually pull it out. It was 55-28. He wasn't winning. With a few minutes left, it was up 27, and the spread was 37, and he teased it to 31, I believe. And he ends up luckily winning 62-28, Tulsa over Northwestern State. And this is the problem. They had no defense. I didn't like the bet. I thought it was they didn't have the defense for this, and he won it at the end, but shouldn't have to win it at the end on a 37-point favorite. So what did I say? Take Utah with Cam Rising. Utah wins 49-0. Cam Rising throws for 5 touchdowns in the first half. The stats on Cam Rising, and I got a little scared for a minute. Here's Cam Rising's stats. I was very happy to see this. He's 10 of 15. He only completes 10 passes out of 15 in the first half for 254 yards and 5 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, a 318 quarterback rating. I mean, it's absurd. The backup so I see the backup in the third quarter. I'm going, oh, fuck, he got injured again. Oh, my God. I don't see him injured. I don't think he got injured. I think they had 35-0, and he's like, okay, let's bring in the second string quarterback. Hey, Greg and John. So very happy Cam Rising, 10 of 15, 254 yards and 5 touchdowns. Granted, it was Southern Utah, but that was my point. Here, you could have laid 37 and never were. You're up 35-0 in half. You had the bet won at halftime. That's my point. And with this defense, they just shut him out. Rushing, they didn't really have anybody rushing. They had a bunch of guys, but no star rusher. Receiving, the tight end Kuthi is also All-American. 4 catches, 69 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Stanley, 3 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 79-yarder, which I saw. He just ran by the cornerback. And see, here's the difference. Rising saw him and put it right in his hands, and the guy was gone 79 yards. Lamar doesn't do that. Hurts ain't going to do that. Caleb's not going to do it. I mean, a lot of these, especially Richardson, you think Richardson's in his life's going to throw for 5 touchdowns and a half? This is why I am so into give me the good pocket passer like a Rising, like a Brady, like Aaron Rodgers, like Mahomes, like Joe Burrow. They can have these 5 touchdown games in the half. You're never going to get it from Lamar. You're never going to get it from Richardson. You're never going to get it from Caleb. You're never going to get it from half these running quarterbacks. They can't do it. So they run for – see, here's the difference. So they Will Levis or Lamar gets a 10, 15-yard run. Okay. Then they get in the red zone. They can't do that. They can't throw, so they can't run for the touchdown. They end up kicking a bunch of field goals. Here's Cam Rising. Boom, he sees the guy open. He doesn't miss him. The guy breaks some tackles, touchdown. He's giving you touchdowns because he can spot the field. He has the pocket present. He sees what's going on. This is why we want to bet on Cam Rising. This exact reason. Now, I know it was Southern Utah, not Georgia, but he'll light up Georgia a little bit too. Now, as I read this article, his whole knee was shot. We thought it was just the ACL or the MCL. Apparently, the whole knee had to be done. Well, nobody said that to us, so we're waiting for Rising to come back last year and thinking it's the ACL or MCL. He fucked his whole knee up. So the fact he was out throwing in September is amazing because it happened in the Rose Bowl. So that's why he needed the year off. Oh, well, thanks for telling us that last year. So anyway, so he's back for the full year and starts off no pain, 5 touchdowns and a half. I don't care who it is, Southern Utah or the Utah defense in the interconference, the inter squad game. So anyway, I wanted to point that out. If you're going to lay 37, you take Cam Rising and that defense over Tulsa. As bad as Northeastern, who was this? As bad as Northwestern State is, they still put up 28 because Tulsa doesn't have a defense, but Utah does. So they had to score 62 points to cover his 31. I get 55 points, and I didn't need any of them, 49. But I shut them out, which I knew they were going to. I told you to take it. I didn't bet it. But I said, if you're looking for this, one of these, that Utah was a good play. So let's go through the plays yesterday. Now, most of these are Division II. Rutgers 44-7 over Howard. Okay, we don't learn a lot. NC State 38, Western Carolina 21. They were tied. They came on. A new quarterback, had to get used to it. Don't learn a whole lot. Wake Forest 45-13 over North Carolina State. We don't learn anything. Bowling Green 41-17 over Fordham. Again, there's nothing to be learned. Central Michigan 66, Central Connecticut State 10. Where did they find these? Why don't they just go to the high schools? Why didn't Central Michigan go to a high school in Central Michigan and play them? Buffalo 30, Lafayette 13. Not Lou Lafayette, but Lafayette. Oh, they're the Leopards. I think they're the only Leopards that we know. They're either the Bears or the Lions or the Tigers. I've never heard the Leopards before. UCF 57-3 over New Hampshire. KJ Jefferson is the new quarterback at UCF. He lit it up pretty good. They're playing New Hampshire. You can't take anything out of it. A little bit, but not. You can see who the quarterback is. And that's the funny part about what Alex did. He didn't have the right quarterback. The quarterback he gave us wasn't the quarterback. Toledo 49-10. Okay, not surprising. They're usually pretty good. New quarterback. Arkansas 70, new quarterback. Arkansas Pine Bluff, nothing. You have to erase everything because it's going to skew your stats. The shutout skews your stats, and the 70 skews your stats. Because if they get in against Oklahoma, they're not going to score 70 points. Colorado, North Dakota State has a hard time, 31-26. I would never bet Colorado minus 10, but I don't want to bet Division II. So it was a stalemate. I didn't play it, but you can see North Dakota State, when they played these better teams, and look at the Colorado defense. They gave up 26 to North Dakota State. So, again, they're going to have a defensive problem. Kansas 48-3, looking good. Daniels, their quarterback, sucked. Their backup came in and did good. So I don't like this Daniels at quarterback. I like being much better who's on Indianapolis. Indianapolis has the guy, but they don't know it. They're too stupid to realize he should be your starter. Missouri 51, Murray State nothing. Their quarterback Cook looked very good. Tulane 52-0. Again, they were a very good team, but the coach moved on. I think they picked up another Troy coach or one of these type of coaches. So we'll see how they are. Tulsa 62-28. Weak defense. UAB 41-3 over Elkhorn State. Okay. Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State. I thought it would be an over, but I didn't want to bet it without seeing it. So Rich Rodriguez's team, again, has no defense. Coastal Carolina is okay, but I don't know if they're this strong. But they did it against Jacksonville State, a Division I team. So 55-27. Shows me they're probably an over. Good offense, but we got to see the stats. Illinois 45, Eastern Illinois 0. You know, what do you learn? North Carolina 19, Minnesota 17. I wondered why this switched. Minnesota was favored by 2. We ended up with North Carolina was a 2 and 1.5 point favorites. And Minnesota misses a field goal the last play of the game from about 45 yards. The guy hooked it. And the strange part is I thought they should have done more to try to get him closer instead of running it into the middle line. And the guy actually ran it to the right, and the kicker is left-footed, prefers the other hash mark. So they really fucked that up. Probably should have done a screen pass or something to set up to give the guy another 10 yards. It's not easy to make 45, 47-yard kick. So he pulls it. So he missed another one where he hit the upright. So Minnesota missed it. Both quarterbacks sucked. That's what I got out of the game. North Carolina had Johnson from Texas A&M. He sucked there. He sucked yesterday, gets hurt. Their backup was terrible. Minnesota, their starter was terrible. He did leave him on the last drive to get into field goal range. We'll give him some credit. Maybe he gets a little better in a few games, but he's nothing special. So that's what we learned. Minnesota, good defense, no quarterback. North Carolina, absolutely no quarterback. Their defense looked a little bit better, but that's what we'll see. Let's mark Coastal Carolina. 55-27. So let me give you the scores I had. I had North Carolina 20, Minnesota 20. North Carolina 21, Minnesota 20. And had they kicked the field goal, they would have won 20-19. So I was dead on that one. I had Jacksonville State 27, Coastal Carolina 24, and Coastal Carolina 55-27. Again, we had to do it. I did circle the over in the game. I didn't play it. In the North Carolina, I circled the under, which came in as they scored 36, and the over-under was 50. So with these new quarterbacks, you're not going to probably get too much scoring. And both teams, well, North Carolina's never had a good defense. Minnesota had a good defense and looked pretty good, again, against not a really good quarterback. I thought the North Carolina quarterback Johnson ran way too much. Again, you got to be careful. There's no backup. So you're running, you're going to get hurt. And he took one. It was actually went back to pass, and they just blitzed him. And I guess they fell on his knee or something. It looks like a knee injury. He had to get carted off. He's done for the year. He wasn't any good anyway. So that's yesterday's two picks. I didn't play it, so I'm just saying who I thought. And that's what I'll give you in class is those scores and my thought over, under, or whatever. Let's see. Let's circle these. Okay. Utah 49-0. Cam Rising, as we said, 5 touchdowns in the first half. Unbelievable. I got worried because they pulled him just before halftime, and I'm like, oh shit, he got hurt again. Why would they pull him just before half? Because he just threw a 60-yard touchdown with a minute left. They got the ball back, and he was done. So the second half went to the back, which is good. Get the backup in a meaningful game, even though you're up 35-0. He did get the 49, but Cam Rising looked fine, ran a little bit, and what's good about him is he finds the open receiver. He knows where to go with the ball. He's the best. He's the best quarterback as long as his knee holds out, which it should. Lou Monroe, 30. Jackson State, 14. Who knows? And San Jose State, 42. Sacramento State, 24. But that's what should happen. It tells me San Jose State's defense isn't very good. So the teams that give up a lot, like Illinois, 45-0, really doesn't tell me how strong their defense is. Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State tells me Jacksonville State's defense sucks. UAB, 41-3. Tulsa Northwest. Tulsa's a terrible team. Tulane, 52-0, doesn't tell me much. Missouri is going to be a strong team with their quarterback Cook. Outstanding. He's probably 2 or 3 behind Cam Rising. It's Rising 1. Cook's in the mix somewhere. We will see. Prime Junior, struggled with North Dakota State at home. Again, no defense. Toledo, 49-10. They always have a good team. Buffalo gives up 13 to Lafayette. Central, 66-10. Bowling Green, 41-7. Wake Forest, pretty good. NC State struggled with West Carolina. We'll see. Hawaii had beaten Delaware State 35-14 the prior week, so that should have taken Alex away. They, at Hawaii, it was 35-14. Hawaii's a pretty explosive team, and they got 14 on them. So this game, no, that was Northwestern State. This is Delaware State. Yeah, a different one. Where do they find these at? Montana State beat New Mexico, but Mexico's terrible. Okay, so let's go to today's games. Just a couple. And I'm not going to read these Division II. Michigan State 13-45. So it jumped from 10.5 to 14 out of 13. What the fuck's going on? 45. So these are the derivative players of football where they're just using these math formulas. And all I can say is good luck to them. It won't help you. So Michigan State 13-45. Florida Atlantic a 25 defense last year. Michigan State you can throw out 22. They got the Oregon State coach defense, quarterback Childs is who knows. He's one of these runners. Can he complete it? And Florida Atlantic's got a new quarterback also. So we will see. It should be interesting. Again, Florida Atlantic is the Ohio State coach. So he used to coach at Ohio State. So he's familiar with Michigan State. Herman. So Herman, he went to Texas. He was great. Went to Houston. He was great. Goes to Texas and he sucks. And now he ends up at Florida Atlantic instead of Houston. So now Willie Fritz is at Houston. All right. Oklahoma 42-57 to Temple. Temple's the Z team, 36 defense. Oklahoma had a 22 defense, but they lost Gabriel. It's a big loss, replaced by, I believe, a freshman who, was one of these dual option guys, run pass. Temple's a Z team. I don't think Temple will score. The question is, what does Oklahoma do with this new quarterback who's never played before? That's going to be a problem. Wisconsin 24-57 against Western Michigan. Western Michigan was an E team last year, gave up 32. Wisconsin gave up 19. We know Wisconsin always has a good defense. New transfer quarterbacks for each team, but in Wisconsin's case, it's Tyler Van Dyke from Miami, who is a stud. This guy is outstanding. Look for Wisconsin to score a little bit more, but it might take a little bit. So their defense will still be the key to Wisconsin, especially with the coach being a defensive coach from Ohio State. And TCU Stanford is the 10:30 game on ESPN. It's 8.5, and 9 for TCU. This has been 7.5 and 8, and then it went up to 9.5, and now it's back to 8.5, 9. What the fuck's going on? 59.5 over under. That's been consistent. TCU, same quarterback, Hoover. Stanford, same quarterback. He sucks. 37 defense from Stanford, and they're a Z team. TCU, normally an over team, 27 defense. Look for them to score more this year. Hoover's back, and they got Sonny Dykes is a great offensive coach. Over under 60, we'll see what happens, but, the better team here is TCU. That's Stanford, and we'll see. It's all up to Hoover, the quarterback, if he lights it up, and we'll see the coach. They're probably mad because they went to the title game, then did nothing. Terrible. They lost to Colorado. So look for them to be much better and look for the revenge against Colorado. So that's the night game. Again, Stanford 37 defense, TCU 27. So we will see. and that's tonight's games. Tomorrow, let's just go to the key games tonight. Now we'll go to, well, we can do them all. Georgia, 12, 48 and a half. Wow. Who's betting Clemson here? Unbelievable. Georgia with the 16 defense last year, Clemson with the 20. Both quarterbacks are returning. The game's in Atlanta, which definitely helps Georgia. We'll see. I mean, I like back. I'm sure they're loaded with running backs, and their defense should be much stauncher because they fired Muschamp, who was the defensive coordinator, who sucked last year. He gave Milrose all those yards in that championship game, really, and it cost him the playoff because he wouldn't blitz Milrose. Just unbelievable. So look for Georgia to be really pissed off this year. VTech Vanderbilt, VTech 13.5, 48.5. Number really hasn't changed. Again, Vandy with the 36 defense last year. Look for a little improvement. VTech 24. Quarterbacks back for VTech. Drones, kind of a running option, dual. I'll call them dual quarterbacks. Vanderbilt gets Dagio Pavia from New Mexico State, my team. So look for them to score a lot more. I don't know if their defense will get better, but he beat Auburn, right? All by himself. New Mexico State beats Auburn. They won 10 games last year. How the fuck did they lose to UMass in the opener? I lock it against UMass, the perfect lock, and they lose. It was like they go 10-2, losing to UMass, beating Auburn. Oh, God. Let's see. Maryland, 19.5, 44.5. To Connecticut. Connecticut with a 30 defense. Maryland at 23, and both teams have new quarterbacks. Pitt 24-54 to Kent State. The line hasn't really moved. Kent was a Z team, 35 defense. Pitt gave up 27. Both teams have new quarterbacks. So we will see. Penn State's down to 7.5 from 10.5. West Virginia's 50.5. Seven and a half, 50.5. Penn State had an 11 defense and the worst Big Ten I've ever seen. It's going to be more than 11 in this game. West Virginia with the 28, but they played all the Big 12 schools. Both quarterbacks are back. Revenge game for West Virginia, and this game's at home. This game is definitely could. I wouldn't even call it if West Virginia wins, I don't call it an upset. No, we'll see what happens. I'll give you my score Sunday, but basically this should be a real close game with revenge. West Virginia is a good team. Don't think they're and Penn State ain't all that on the road. They're all that at home on the grass. They're not on grass. This is artificial turf for West Virginia. No. Huge advantage there. Miami 2.5, 54 at Florida. Good luck with that. 27 defense, Florida, 22 for Miami. New transfer quarterback, Cam Ward. He's not very impressive. Florida gets their quarterback back, returning. He was pretty good stat-wise. Again, I'm struggling with why Miami's favored. The worst coach in all of sports, worse than the Lions coaches and the Tigers coaches. Terrible coach. Doesn't know he can take a knee. How he's still at his job is beyond me. I'm sure he lost the team last year. That's why Van Dyke transferred. They're not going to walk into the swamp at Florida and just beat the hell out of them. Not with this coach, not with this quarterback. No chance. UTSA 24-49.5 against Tennessee State. We can't make a comment on it. Totally new team for UTSA, and Tennessee State goes up to Division I. All we know is UTSA had a 24 defense, was a good team with Frank Harris and Sincere McCormick, which are both gone. I wonder where Frank Harris, I mean, why isn't he starting for Minnesota or the Giants? Why isn't that guy on the Giants starting for the Giants? He's so much better than Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones blackmailing the coach or the owner? What the fuck is he doing in the NFL? It just blows my mind. So, all you Giant fans, you're being made off, basically. All right. Big Nebraska, 27.5, 48.5 to UTEP. 28 defense for UTEP. Nebraska, 18. Returning quarterback for UTEP, if that means anything. Nebraska has a new freshman quarterback, Dominic Raiola's son. So he must be really good. Hard to believe he's starting. He's only there because of nepotism, not because of skill. And we will see what kind of team. A lot of points for Nebraska, a team without an offense. Very good defense. I don't think UTEP will score too much, but I don't think Nebraska is going to score too much either with this quarterback. UMass, 2.5, 51. UMass, 2.5, 51 against Eastern. UMass with the 38 defense. I don't know why they're favored. Eastern Michigan with the 24 defense and a new transfer quarterback. Pretty good program for a MAC team. UMass has the returning quarterback who not very good. This line surprises me. Eastern was favored. I don't know who in their right mind's betting UMass as a favorite in this game. You got to be nuts. Ohio State, 48.5, 57 to Akron. Akron with the 28 defense, another Z team, new transfer quarterback. Ohio State gets Will Howard, Chip Kelly, 11 defense last year, which, as we said, the Big Ten was so bad. Look at the Michigan game. They gave up, 30-24 was the score there. That's probably more the Ohio State team against a decent team. Akron's not a decent team. They're a Z team. So the 11 defense, the new quarterback, Will Howard is a very good quarterback. And Akron doesn't have one. So, this could be like a Utah game. It could be in the 40s at halftime for Ohio State. I don't really see Akron scoring against the first team. Maybe in the fourth quarter when the fourth string's out there, they get a touchdown. But while the game's competitive in the first half, it's going to be 1-2-3 punt, like the way the Lions do it. Northwestern, 3.5, 39.5 to Miami of Ohio. There was question on Miami of Ohio's quarterback, but now he's going to play. Northwestern, 24 defense. Miami is a very good MAC team, up for the title. The 16 defense. Blaine Gabbert, the quarterback, is back. Northwestern's got a new quarterback, really a new coach. And we'll see what we get here. This could be a very close game. Ohio against Syracuse. Syracuse is 17.5-point favorites. Can anybody explain that one? And 44.5, 45 over under. New quarterback for Ohio. Syracuse gets the shitty quarterback from Ohio State. Can't really understand that. 24 defense, Syracuse. Ohio, very good MAC team with the 15 defense. So some of these MAC teams, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Toledo, don't want to fuck with. They are very strong. If you have the strong defense, you can play with a Syracuse or UMass or these teams. Northwestern, that ain't your problem. They can win these games. Let's see. Indiana and Florida International. Indiana gets James Madison's coach. Look for Indiana to get better. Just a second. All right, just a second. Just having a kind TK, how do you do on your picks? Well, I didn't. I have my first picks tonight. I picked Georgia Tech last week, so I won. Yesterday, I said to take Utah if you could get a line, but I didn't play it because I don't play Division II. And the same thing with the Minnesota North Carolina game. I said take the dog, but I didn't bet that. So it's literally like the baseball when I say, well, I'm not going to bet it, but I like it. So that was it. So far pretty good. Tonight I got one pick, and then I get them all tomorrow. So let's go back to this. So Indiana has the James Madison coach, who's very good. So he's now at Indiana with a very good quarterback. Look for Indiana to be very good this year. Now it's going to take them a while, just like Houston. Willie Fritz is their coach. Tulane was undefeated with him. Look for Houston to get better, but I don't know how strong they'll be week 1. But by week 5, we'll be betting heavy on Houston and probably Indiana too, because they'll be great. They'll have a great line. They'll be dogs when they should be favored. But anyway, Florida International, not too good. And look for Indiana. They did have a 30 defense last year. It'll be much better. And Florida International had a 32 defense. So we'll see. Indiana probably will have a nice time, but it's the new system. So we got to wait and see. Texas, this game's moving. They're up to 34-60. They were 32. I don't know what's going on there. Texas, playoff team, 17 defense. Colorado State with the 30 defense. Both quarterbacks are back, Ewers and whatever this guy at Colorado State. Texas lost both their first and second team running backs to knee injuries. They're out for the season. So, but, Texas recruits good running backs. So I don't think that's a big thing. If Ewers get hurt, then you got to go to Manning Jr., Arch Manning. This is how the Mannings. We used Archie and we used Peyton. Let's use Arch. It's got to be somewhere in that family. Then the next kid will be ARC, will be Arc, and then A Manning. That's what it'll be. Who's Connecticut playing? I told you they're playing Maryland. That was an earlier game. Boise State, Georgia Southern. Boise State 13, 56.5. They should be a pretty good running team. They got the transfer from USC, the freshman quarterback. He ain't starting. The other quarterback is. That shows you it could be. They're going to be a running team this year. Georgia Southern is a pretty good team. 30 defense last year. They get a new freshman quarterback. So this would be an interesting game to learn. South Carolina 21, 52.5 to Old D. Both teams had 26 defenses. Radler's gone. Old D. I can check their quarterback, but it doesn't matter. He's back. I'll see how good he is. And it's just how good's Rattler's replacement and how good the offensive coordinator is. Rattler sucked last year, so I can't believe he got drafted by New Orleans. I hope he got cut. He's terrible. If he couldn't do it at Oklahoma with that cake offense, then you just – how bad is the guy? He couldn't read a defense at all. South Alabama, 6 and 62.5 to North Texas. This came down. This went up to 65, and now it's 62. Interesting. New transfer quarterback for North Texas, South Alabama, returning quarterback who's a freshman somehow. I don't know how he can return and be a freshman. North Texas, 37 defense. South Alabama had a 22. North Texas is an over team. They will score a ton of points. I can guarantee that. They will give up a ton of points, but I don't know. South Alabama, fairly good defense, not a really explosive offense. It's kind of a mismatch there. Let's see. Houston, 3.5, 55.5 to Vegas. This is up from 2.5. Vegas's quarterback went to USC. He'll probably start Maivia. Houston, Donovan Smith's terrible, so I don't know how long he'll keep him in there. Houston with the 31 defense, Vegas with the 27. Look for Houston to have a much better defense with Willie Fritz. Basically, he was, if you just look at Tulane's numbers. Vegas, they've been a pretty explosive team. I think it won't matter that the quarterback's gone. We will see. Troy, 944.5. This game's all over the place. Was 15, down 8.5, now 9, 44.5. That's what it's been. Troy's got a terrible coach. Nevada, I doubt they're going to do the same thing they did against SMU. First of all, the game's in Troy. Second, okay, they shot their load. We've seen their hand. They're just running their quarterback. Been there, done that. Nevada with the 33 defense. Last week was a 29 to SMU. Troy, new coach, not a good coach. So the 17 defense, I doubt stays. Nevada, they'll probably still have a 30 defense. This game you watch. Alabama, 31.5, 32, 33, 59.5 to Western Kentucky. Alabama will be explosive with DeBoer. Great offensive mind. I'm not sure how great the defense will be, but it's Alabama. They should be okay. Western Kentucky with the 28 defense. New transfer quarterback for Western Kentucky is good. Alabama has Milrose back. So we will see both teams. Let's see Alabama with DeBoer. Let's see. Rice and Sam Houston. What is Sam Houston doing in Division I? Rice, 10, 47.5. That line hasn't moved down from 49.5. 47.5. Both teams had 26 defenses. Sam Houston could barely score. New quarterback for Sam Houston, a new transfer from Rice, E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's kid. Rice is, I think I like their coach and they've been okay. So we will see both 20. I think Rice will have a little better defense, and Sam Houston, I don't know, but they don't score, and I don't think they're going to score with this new quarterback. Michigan, 21-45.5 to Fresno State. Michigan, a whole new offense, new coach, new defense, new O-line, new running back, new receivers, on and on and on. New D quarterback. And we've got Fresno State with Mikey Keene and a very good coach, but I can't remember his name. Defense was a 25, but Michigan I don't think can really hurt it. I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They'll probably use 2 or 3. I don't like their coach. I don't like their offense, basically just run. So we will see. Fresno State should score in this game a couple times. I'd be shocked if it was, 31-0. I don't see them shutting out Fresno State. Mikey Keene's too good of a quarterback, and the coach is too good of a coach to not figure out how to play this defense. And they play some good talent, Fresno State. They played UCLA and some other big games either last year or the year before. That's why I'm all high on Jake Hayner. New Orleans, he beat UCLA, who had a very good team. He went down at the end of the game, got hurt, still played, completed a touchdown to win the game with 10 seconds left. That's what I like about Jake Hayner. He's a fucking winner, just like Stenson Benson. He's the backup to Stafford, who's got hamstring problems, and I'm fine with Stenson Benson. He won 2 titles. How many titles did Caleb win? Oh yeah, none. How many games did he win? Not a lot. So this should be a very interesting game. Fresno State could pull the upset. We'll see if they can get the lead and Michigan has to throw. Michigan's fucked. They're only good if they can get the lead and run. So this will be very interesting to see Fresno State. If they get the ball and score, this will be a very interesting game. Let's see. A&M and Notre Dame. A&M 3-46 to Notre Dame. A&M with the 21 defense, Notre Dame with the 17. Riley Leonard takes over, is nowhere near as good as Hartman. A&M got their quarterback Wegman back. Johnson moved on because Wegman beat him out. And now Johnson's out for the year, I think, with the knee injury that he suffered yesterday. He looked like crap anyway at North Carolina. What is it with these networks showing the fucking family? Here's his dad. Here's his kid. Here's his sister. Here's his brother. Who gives a fuck? Do I really give a fuck about Johnson's father or his sister or whoever or any of these guys? Tim Tebow's family. Oh, my God. Do you want me to throw up? Why is that a big deal? Why do we need to see the family? I can't stand it anymore. I just mute the whole game. So this should be interesting. We'll see how good Notre Dame is. A&M, I think, will be pretty fired up for the game at home. UCLA, 14-52.5. Down from 55. UCLA, like I said, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator and their head coach. So we'll see how the replacements who were there, so they'll be running the same system. Do they have the same defensive players? Outstanding defense last year. A 32 defense from Hawaii. They just throw the ball. They don't run it. Their defense is weak. UCLA with an 18 defense with kind of a new defensive coordinator. He was their defensive line coach, so it's not going to be that much different. Both quarterbacks are back, as you know, Hawaii's and UCLA's. This will be an interesting game. This will show you how good Hawaii is and how bad or good UCLA is. I doubt Hawaii can win, but let's see how good they can put up a game at home. Kentucky, 26.5 and 50 to Southern Miss. Southern Miss, absolutely terrible. Z team. Frank Gore Jr. is on Buffalo. That was it. That's all they had. I don't know what he was doing there. why he didn't transfer. 36 defense for Southern Miss, Kentucky at 25. New quarterbacks for both teams. It's going to be a long year for Southern Miss, I think. We'll be betting again. They're one of our Z team bitches to bet against. Georgia Tech, 20.5, 55.5 to Georgia State. Both teams had 30 defenses last year. Georgia Tech's already looked a little bit better, but it was against Uglia Buglia, so I can't, sell Georgia Tech's got a great defense. Georgia State had a 30 defense. We've seen Kings. He looks very good. Georgia Tech with that victory against Florida State. The only thing, they could be a little tired from the trip from Ireland last Saturday back. Georgia State with the 30 defense. They're pretty weak, Georgia State. So if Georgia Tech gives the same effort they gave against Florida State, they should have an easy win here. But we'll see. Let's see. James Madison, 8.5, 9.5, 48 to Charlotte. Again, we got a new coach. We don't know what to expect. They had an 18 defense, but the coach ain't there anymore. Charlotte with the 28. New transfer quarterback for James Madison, the third stringer from Washington. Obviously, he was behind Penix, and then obviously he's behind the second stringer, where he'd be at Washington. So obviously he's not that good. Charlotte with a new quarterback. Charlotte's pretty weak. 28 defense. James Madison, we don't know because the coach is gone. Are they still? I doubt they're still in 18. It's the coach's system that moves on, and this will not be an 18 this year. So we got to see the new team. SMU is 44.5, 56.5. Who the hell is HCU? Houston Christian. Oh my God. Where do they find this? Is this a high school team? SMU against Houston Christian, and they're laying 44.5. This game, I think, will hit 90. Here's one of these for Alex. If you're interested in Division II, now I don't touch Division II. This is not my play. SMU's going to kill them because they had a tough time. They're at home. Look for SMU to put up 70 points tonight or tomorrow. Arizona State, 747.5 against Wyoming. Arizona State a 32 defense, Wyoming a 23, and both teams have new quarterbacks. Arizona State with a really weak defense. Wyoming always plays a pretty good defense. We will see. Let's see what happens, but it's hard. I don't know what Arizona State is this year. I do know what Arizona is. 31, 58.5 to New Mexico. New Mexico lost to Montana State. Montana State threw the ball very well on them. And what does Arizona do with Fafita? Outstanding quarterbacks. You got Rising, you got Fafita, you've got the other quarterback I meant. Will Howard at Ohio State. The kid here at West Virginia is pretty good. Ewers is okay. Mikey Keene's good at Fresno State, but not that good. At least, if he beats Michigan, he is. Milrose is not in that class. And Tyler Van Dyke is in that class. So we will see. But Fafita is very good. Now, if New Mexico could not hold Montana State with a 20-point lead last week, then here comes Fafita. 20 defense. Again, the coach moved on to Washington. So hard to really know who the new coach, I think, is pretty good. And again, New Mexico with 35 defense and gives up 31 to Montana State. I got a feeling Arizona is going to be much, much higher than that. Uh, LSU 4.5, 64.5 to USC. Again, if you go to DraftKings, maybe you get LSU +4. They got LSU on FanDuel and Caesars -4.5. And on DraftKings, they got USC -4. That's got to be a misprint. But anyway, so figure LSU 4.5, 64.5. LSU a 28 defense, USC a 35 defense. I doubt the UCLA coach is going to come in and make him an 18 defense week one, especially against LSU and Nussbacher. Nussbacher is a really good quarterback. I assume USC gets we'll start the Vegas quarterback, Villa, who's very good. The game's in Vegas. So both teams have new quarterbacks that got to get incorporated. But notice how USC's not going to the guy in the bowl game who threw 10 touchdowns in the first quarter, because that was against the fourth string of whoever they played. That's the thing. When you hear these guys say, oh, they won the bowl game, and you're like, big fucking deal. Half the team doesn't play. Look at Georgia. Are they excited they beat Florida State in the bowl game, and Florida State didn't play any of their players? They had the cheerleaders and the people in the crowd playing. I mean, you can't get excited about a bowl win anymore. You can get excited about a playoff win only. Why they have bowls, I do not know. There used to be for vacations. Oh, we're in Michigan, we'll go to Florida or go to California. But now, what is the point? They should force the players to play. If you want your scholarship, you got to play. So it's sort of like a deposit. If you want the work done, then you got to pay me in full. And that's the problem with these guys. They need to, they've got to play in the bowl game. It's a regular game like everybody else. How the fuck did it become an exhibition? It's never been an exhibition. I saw a bowl lose his mind losing the Rose Bowls. You think that was an exhibition? I don't think so. So USC. So again, both defenses are kind of weak. The system at USC, that's why I think Caleb's not going to do anything. And then LSU, the system there, but it's a little more pro level with Brian Kelly. Let's see. Daniels should do a lot better. We'll see. You can't say Joe Burrow because he wasn't under Brian Kelly. And none of the Notre Dame quarterbacks ever do anything either. So it could be system. And the last game is Florida State 16.5 and 50, up from 50.5. Uglia, terrible quarterback. I think Florida State's coach is pretty good. So what the fuck is he dicking around with Uglia for? You got to get the backup ready pretty quick, because Uglia is not going to win you games because he can't read defenses. He's going to get inside the 20, and you'll be kicking field goals, and they'll be scoring touchdowns. BC's got a terrible quarterback, Castellanos. 30 defense. Florida State's defense will save them. I think Florida State will have a lot of under games this year. They'll just have to run the ball with Uglia and then play defense, which is pretty. Believe me, to hold Georgia Tech to 24 points, they did well. This is a very explosive Georgia Tech team. Very well coached, great play calling. Kings I would take in the draft way ahead of these Alabama, Ohio State guys. He gets it, and that's why I like Cam Rising. It's not a system there. He's just that good. He threw a 79-yard touchdown yesterday. The guy comes out. He's lined up. The cornerback blows the coverage. The guy runs right by him. And within this much, he sees him, he hits him right on the numbers. Guy doesn't break stride. 79 yards later, another touchdown for Cam Rising. That's the difference. Lamar wouldn't see that. These other, Richardson, you think he even knows how to look for a receiver? None of these running quarterbacks, that's their problem. They can't see the blown coverage and hit the guy in stride. That's my bitch about Lamar and Richardson and these guys. That's why I bitch about them. Because that's how you win, a nice 79-yard pass. You don't see that from those guys. You see it from Mahomes. You see it from Burrow. I hope he gets Chase back. I want to bet Cincinnati week 1, but I need Chase to do it. Greg and John, you're losing me. Texas, I don't want that. Taylor Swift in the NFL. Well, she goes to the Kansas City game, so what's the point? All right. That is tonight's action. Tomorrow again, tonight's action. We've got Michigan State 13-45 against Florida Atlantic, both teams with new quarterbacks. Michigan State with the Oregon State coach. So the Oregon State defense, which is usually very good. Childs, new quarterback, never quartered before. This will be interesting. Oklahoma, Temple, Oklahoma 42, 57.5. I think that number is high. I don't like the quarterback is more of a dual quarterback. So he's going to run a lot, really, and miss all these open receivers that I just talked about. So this will be interesting. Wisconsin with Tyler Van Dyke should be very interesting if they let him go and let him quarterback the way he did at Miami a few years ago. Wisconsin's going to be very tough to beat in the Big Ten because they have the defense, they have the running. If you got Van Dyke, you can't really. It's like Russell Wilson coming in, right? And then TCU, Stanford, the Z team. TCU, I think it's Hooper was the quarterback. Was not very good last year. Let's see how he is this year. Hopefully he got better. Good coach. He's a very good I can't think of his name, but he's a real good offensive mind. So look for TCU after last year to get rolling this year. Look for them to have a big year. The only problem they have is Utah. Utah is going to win it all in the Big 12. Your top 4 teams are Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, and Utah. They have the best defenses with the best quarterbacks and the best offenses. Right down the line. And that's what you're looking for. The best defense with a great quarterback. Who the fuck's going to beat them? And the only thing is Ohio State plays at Oregon. That's who somebody's got to win that game. And I don't care who the dog is. That's who we're going to bet. Again, when A plays A, we take dog. And we got Georgia, Ella, fucking Bama coming up. Michigan's in big trouble. They're a dog to Texas next week. Some guy on the radio said Michigan maybe only has 6 wins. They're going to have 7 losses. They could lose to Fresno State, probably will. Texas, USC, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, and Michigan State. They're in big trouble. Because if they get down to a good Washington team or a good Oregon team, they're fucked because they don't have the offense. They go down 21-0 to Oregon, which is what they did last year a lot. They're fucked. They can't score 21 points. They don't have the quarterback to do it. They don't have the receivers or the offense. They just want to run the ball. You can't run it when you're down 21-0. Oregon and Washington can put them to sleep. Ohio State will put them to sleep. Texas absolutely has the defense to stuff them. Fresno State's got Mikey Keene, and in the first game, believe me, Fresno State's got blood in their eyes to win this game. And Michigan State, they got a good coach now. They can if they play Oregon State football, they can beat Michigan. They have the defense to beat them. So that's the key. You can't look at Michigan State from the last few years because they don't have that idiot coach. That coach sucked. See, they could have got Luke Fickell, but he probably didn't want to coach Michigan teams because he's Ohio State, and they settled for this idiot from Colorado who sucked. And now you got a good coach, this guy from Oregon State. He played very well. He had to play Oregon every year. He had to play Washington State. Cal, and then USC, UCLA, Utah, a couple of the Arizona. He had some big games there. So he's played big competition. So going against Michigan, not a big deal. Hey, we had to play Oregon every year. Michigan's a piece of cake compared to Oregon, especially at Oregon. So look for Michigan State. Maybe a little slow in the beginning, but look for them to once they start playing Oregon State football, watch out because they'll be 2 touchdown dogs to Michigan. They can win the game straight out. All right, let's go to the NFL. As long as I'm rolling in football numbers. We got KC 346. I'm just going to do the line. That's a week from Thursday. We're getting close. Once we get, no, it's less than a week, right? It's 5 days away. This is Friday. They play next Thursday. It's 6 days away. KC, again, as long as Kelsey and the other guy play, the same won't happen what happened last year when they were just all of a sudden these guys are injured 2 days before the start. One guy was a holdout. Baltimore, very interesting. Revenge for them. KC's got their number. They know how to beat them. They know how to control Lamar. Lamar did absolutely nothing. 17-10. Lamar had 1 touchdown, and the guy dropped the other one at the 1 yard line. He got a fumble. So, okay, but KC's way the better team. Mahomes is way the better quarterback. Spagnuolo, way the better defensive coordinator. Harbaugh, I really question his ability to coach and his ability to play. Lamar, he's an idiot. Then on Friday, we go to Brazil, an NFL country. Philly 2.5, 48.5 to Green Bay. This will be a very good game. Then for some reason, the Bears are 4.5, 45 to Tennessee on Sunday. Caleb, you're not all that. I'm sorry. I don't see that Caleb is 4.5 better than anybody, maybe against Bryce Young from Carolina. Maybe. People are saying they have a top 10 defense. Really? I don't think they have what was their defense last year? It was a 22 defense. That's not a top 10 defense. The top 10 teams, Baltimore and KC with 17 defenses, Pitt at a 19, Buffalo at an 18. You had a 19 with Dallas, a 21 with Cleveland, a 19 with Tampa Bay, and an 18 with the Niners, 21 with the Jets. So I don't see it's a top 10 defense. We will see, but this will be interesting. They're going to blitz Caleb, and he don't like that. Houston, 2.5, 49 to Indy. Wrong team's favored here. Buffalo, 648. Buffalo's usually very good at home. We will see. Look for Arizona, no defense. I'm not sure how much defense Buffalo has. Cincinnati, 8.5 and 9 against New England. New England and a 40.5. New England's named Brissett starter over Zappi. I was surprised. They're trying to say it's over Drake May, and I'm like, no, it's over Zappi, not Drake May. Drake May is not their second string. And they're trying to say it gives them the best chance to win and all that bullshit. Drake May's not a good quarterback. End of story. Brissett is not very good. I saw his stat. It was like he's played 43 or 45 games in the NFL. He's like 18 and 30 when he started. So I'm not expecting anything from New England this year. Their head coach never coached before. Atlanta 3-41 to Pittsburgh. Kirk Cousins, if he can play against Russell Wilson, and we'll see how screwed up he is. Pitt should be a very good team with that defense and Russell Wilson. Atlanta won't be a good team. They put Penix in. They will not do anything with Kirk Cousins because they didn't do anything at Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. Oh, yeah, they lost to the Giants in a playoff game at home. Yeah, that's Kirk Cousins. New Orleans 4-40 to Carolina. Wow, only 4 to Carolina, the worst team in the league. Carolina, you put them in the SEC, they probably wouldn't. They couldn't beat Georgia. They couldn't beat Alabama. I doubt they could beat Tennessee. I doubt they could beat, well, maybe Florida. But let's put them in the Big Ten. They couldn't beat Ohio State. They couldn't beat you. They couldn't beat Oregon. They couldn't beat Washington. They couldn't beat, Michigan, as bad as Michigan's going to be this year. They're not a good team. I don't know. See, these GMs are going to these offensive coaches to try to help the quarterbacks. You understand it's a quarterback league, but you fuck up your whole team. You bring in an offensive coordinator, a quarterback coach. You don't make the head coach. Like Miami made the head coach because he was an offensive guy and could help take Tagliabue. That's not why you bring in a head coach. Bill Parcells didn't know shit about offense. He knew how to, win games, and he had number 56 there to win the games. He was smart enough to have, Sims just run the ball and let Lawrence Taylor win the games for us. So even with Phil Simms, he could win. It had nothing to do with Phil Simms and everything to do with Lawrence Taylor. So keep that in mind. New Orleans, Miami 3 against Jacksonville. 2 weak quarterbacks here. Tagliabue against Trevor Lawrence. Jesus Christ. 349.5. I can't see anything. Minnesota 141.5 to the NY, to the Giants, the G-Men. Where's Lawrence Taylor when you need him? This is pathetic. Darnold, who is pathetic against Daniel Jones, who has no business being in the NFL. He had no business in college. I don't know how he started there. Hey, Luke, just finishing up with football. We'll do one show today. I had I had to go to the doctor and swim early because the pool was closing at 1. So it shouldn't be much more. So Mini 141.5. I don't know. Neither team's got a quarterback. The Giants had Barkley. He's gone. And the Minnesota, their running backs. Minnesota has Jefferson, and that's it. And the Giants have nothing. This is just pathetic. Seattle, Denver. Seattle 5.5, 42 against Denver. Seattle, good offense, but Coach Pete, they let Coach Pete go, the best coach in the league, him and Belichick, and they let him go. You've got to be kidding. Denver, you got to love Sean Payton, and now he's the best coach in the league. Over under 42, I think Bo Nix will be very good, just like Penix, just like Jalen Daniels. Those 3 will fit right in, be very good quarterbacks. Oakland and San Diego. San Diego 3.5, 42 to Oakland. Herbert hasn't played a stick. He's been injured, so we'll see. You don't just go in like it's nothing, especially against Crosby and Oakland. 3.5, 42. Minshew for quarterback. You do have Brock Bowers, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and you got Devontae Adams. So Oakland can add a little bit of offense, but the San Diego defense is going to be good, but their offense will suck. Harbaugh thinks he's at Michigan, looking for Illinois, Purdue, and Indiana here, and he's not going to get them. They're going to struggle. San Diego. I can't believe they didn't draft Brock Bowers. They had him right in their hands, and they took the guard from Notre Dame. What a brilliant move! Oh my God. You could have drafted a guard from USC or Ohio State or Michigan in the next round if you needed an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen do not win you games. Superstar tight ends or slot receivers win you games. Chase, Jefferson, CD Lamb, that's how they win. They don't win with offensive linemen. Dallas, Cleveland 2.5, 42. Deshaun Watson's he's renegotiated the contract to save salary cap, I guess. No way he's playing. I don't know why they just don't cut it. And then Dallas Prescott, did they sign? I think they signed CeeDee Lamb finally. Look for Chase to get signed this week. Prescott's terrible. And if they go to Trey Lance, he's even worse. Myles Garrett would eat Trey Lance for lunch. Michael Parsons will definitely give Chuba a hard time. Thompson Robinson's okay. He's not great. But, we'll see here. But I don't like Dallas at all this year. I think they might not go 500. Tampa Bay, Washington, Tampa Bay, 3.5, 43.5. Well, the Dallas will beat the Giants twice. I don't know about Philly. We have to see them. Washington with Jalen Daniels. They'll probably beat Washington too, just because that's how bad they are. But Tampa Bay, 3.5, 43.5. Bit the Baker against Daniels. We'll see Daniels, but he hasn't played enough to really in the NFL to be all that. So we'll see. Detroit 3.5, 51 to the Rams. Stafford's had a little hamstring problems in practice. We'll see how he's ready. He'll go. It's just how long. Look for Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp to each catch 250 yards apiece. They could get 500 yards passing because Detroit can't cover anybody. Again, on the radio, they're saying, "Oh, this guy looked good in practice," and this guy. It's like, dude, who are they playing against in practice? Is it even full speed? Well, you couldn't handle Puka Nacua last year, and you're not going to handle Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua with Stafford. Even if Stenson Benson comes in, I'm not worried. I think the Rams. I wouldn't even call it an upset. I think they get revenge. The only issue is replacing Aaron Donald, but they had some pretty good guys last year, and they did some pretty good drafting. And Sean McVay, he'll fix it. But the Rams, what a great receiving guys. They brought in a couple of running backs. They're going to be hard. They got off waivers. They got the San Francisco guy, my guy from Missouri, who's outstanding. The Niners cut him, and the Rams signed him. What are the Niners doing? You can't let a guy like that go. He was very good at Missouri. So the Rams got him now. Look out. Now they can run and pass. Good luck. And our last game, the Monday night game, the Niners, 3.5, 44 to the Jets's. The Jets are so much better than the Giants. It's scary. Aaron Rodgers plays. They're in the playoffs with this defense. Good coach. Great quarterback. They've got running. They've got receivers. Look out. They did sign Ayuk, and they got Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey. You blew letting Schrader go, the Missouri running back, was a huge mistake. He's very talented. So we will see the Niner defense. We got to see the new defensive coordinator. Does he got his head up his ass or not? We know how Shala, we saw him was the defensive coordinator at the Niners. He was outstanding. So we know he can call a defensive game. And you got Purdy and McCaffrey, so this will be a very interesting matchup. Aaron Rodgers, can easily win this game with this defense. You're betting the defenses, and right now the Jets have a better defense than the Niners. As long as Aaron Rodgers is there, the defense, you have the defense attention. The Niners are going to be tough. How good's their defense with the new coordinator? And, you got Purdy's good. We've seen him. He's good, but he's not a blowout quarterback. So this should be a very entertaining game. All right. So that's NFL. We covered college. Now let's look at baseball real quickly. I'm not going to go through every game. I'm only going to go through the games I want to play. And there's a few games going. Well, there's only one game. Milwaukee. What was that final? Milwaukee against Cincinnati. Milwaukee wins 5-4. In 10, that's your early game. We don't care. So now 6:40 games is 2 hours away. Boston at Detroit. Tanner Houck, 8-9 with the 3.23. Casey Mize, always injured, 2-6 with the 4.23. Two pigs. Let's go over in this game. I think Boston should hammer Casey Mize, and we'll see. Tanner Houck's been pitching terrible, so we're going to go Detroit over 9. I can't believe I'm writing 8:30 already. Wow. That's amazing. We'll go 2 units on it. Atlanta, Philly, great series. Philly 135, 7.5. Ronaldo Lopez, 7-4 at the 202. Ranger Suarez has been gone for a month, is back. 11-5 with the 282. Really, well, we're going to go under, but we doubt Ranger Suarez is going to go under 7.5. We doubt he's going to go more than 4 innings, 5 innings. Maybe he gets 50, 60 pitches. So we got to see, because he was like 10-0 with a 1.8 ERA. He's now 11-5 with a 2.8 ERA. So something was wrong with him. Now he's rested for a month. Hard to believe he'd be hurt pitching every 5th day, 100 pitches. What is wrong with these pitchers? I blame it on the managers, only 100 pitches. These guys should be going 150, 200 pitches and completing the games. If you got a 2-0 lead, you're not coming out. Because I don't have relievers that are any good at most of these teams. Cleveland does. California's got this guy throwing 100 miles an hour. Chapman, wherever he's at. But most of these relievers are terrible. Milwaukee, Cincinnati's playing a doubleheader. D.L. Hall, 0-1 with a 6.43. Rhett Lauder, 0-0 with an 0.00. Over-under of 10. Are you kidding me? I'm passing. The Cubbies at Washington. Shota Imanaga, 10-3 with a 3.08. I don't believe that's a 3.08 because he never gets anybody. He always gives up 6-7 runs. Jake Irvin, 9-10 with a 3.80. I'm passing on this one. San Diego, Tampa. San Diego is much the better team. Tampa's favored by 125. Oops. Martin Perez, 3-5 with a 4.60. Ty Bradley, 6-8 with the 3.77. I got to go over here. San Diego over 7.5. That's nothing. 3. Because neither pitcher, Ty Bradley's 6-8 with a 3.77. I'm not scared of him. The Cardinals and the Yankees. The Yankees, are you going to start hitting? Yankees minus 190, 8.5. Eric Fetty, 8-7 with a 3.31 against Marcus Stroman, 9-6 with the 3.88. No fucking way I'm betting the Yankees under, so I'm going to pass. But let's see the Yankees start hitting again. Aaron Judge should get to 60, 65 homers. He's got a month to do it. He's hitting 340. It's incredible. He's your MVP, not Shotani. Shotani's a DH. He hasn't played at all. He just hits. I mean, I don't understand his fanfare. And if I was the guy that caught his home run ball, sorry, boys. No. I want at least 10 grand, 20 grand for the ball. You want the ball? Otherwise, fuck off. You're not getting the ball for a hat and a jersey. Sorry, I'm not interested in the Dodgers or your jerseys. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, good series. Cleveland 150-9. Bailey Falter, 6-7 with a 4.25. Ben Lively, 11-8 with a 3.62. I got to go with Cleveland. Pittsburgh let me down. I'm just going to go Cleveland for 3 units just to win the game. Pittsburgh, you had Paul Scanes and you're up 10-6 and you lose 14-10 to the fucking Cubs because you go to the bullpen. Jesus Christ. Cleveland, I want to go to the bullpen because their guys are, they got 1.0. They got real major league relievers, not like the rest of the league with the minor leaguers as relievers. Well, that yeah, and it cost me money too. But yeah, it was ridiculous. What's the manager thinking? Is he? The question is the manager trying to win, or we don't want to get anybody hurt? We're going to play, socialism ball. Bednar needs well, just like the Seattle guy. I called that one, and I'll call this one. What are they thinking? All the managers have to go. They all use this. Oh, he might get tired. He's pitched 85 pitches. We better take him out. Even if it costs us the game, let's take him out because he might get hurt. And we don't want our guys getting hurt. And then all of them get hurt anyway. Oakland, Texas. The guy for the Tigers, Casey Mize, pitched 5 games in 3 years. He was like a number 1 draft pick, and he's always been hurt. And he never plays. Great deal he signed. He makes all this money. You should be paid on compensation or on what's my word? Not compensation, but on I can't think of it. Based on your performance. It should be performance based. You win 10 games, you get X. You win 20 games, you get 10 million. We win a playoff game with you, you get 5 million. You have an ERA under 3, you get another $5 million bonus. You want to earn your money, go earn your money. We're not giving you guaranteed money. Look at Deshaun Watson, 20 million guaranteed or whatever, 240 million guaranteed. Doesn't do anything. Hasn't played in 5 years, and he gets this guaranteed money because Houston had their heads up their ass, or Cleveland. What's Cleveland doing? They just cut him. Renegotiate. I don't care. They renegotiate with you. You can renegotiate the contract. This is why you should never do guaranteed money. What are you, out of your mind? This is what you get. Just like Cabrera on the Tigers. It was a wasted last 5 years were a waste of time. And you got fucked with it. And now you're in last place all the time. Oakland, Texas. JP Sears, 10-9 with the 4.35 against John Gray. 5-5 with a 4.32. This should be an over. 2 terrible pitchers. Yeah, let's play Oakland over. They had a big game a couple days ago. Oakland over 8.5. We'll go 3 units. The Mets and the White Sox. The White Sox. Bobby at age 55, he could be our cleanup hitter and go 4 for 4 with 3 homers against them. The White Sox are terrible. Mets 225-9. The White Sox won a grand total of 31 games. They should not get their revenue sharing unless you win 50. They're keeping their costs down and making all this money. It's ridiculous. Mets 225-9. Tyler Miguel for the Mets 2-5 with the 5.17. Oh my God. Jonathan Cannon 2-8 with the 4.57. What do you do with this mess? I can't bet Tyler Miguel with a 2-5 with a 5.17. I'm going to bet him, and he's a 2.25 favorite. Really, this is an over, but the White Sox with 6 hitters hitting under 210, I can't play them. And the Mets ain't. Lindor is finally starting to hit, but he's not a 300 hitter yet. Toronto and Minnesota, a good hockey game. Kevin Gausman for the Maple Leafs, 12-9 with the 4.10. Pablo Lopez, 12-8 for the North Stars, 4.26 ERA. Mike Modano is going to be playing for Minnesota. And Toronto gets Norm Ullman and Dave Keon. Gausman, 12-9 with the 4.10. Yeah, we got to go over here. Jesus. Minnesota over 8. I mean, 2 big pitchers, and you got an 8 ERA, 3 units. KC Houston, what a good series this is. Houston minus 185, 7.5 at home. Seth Lugo, who used to be good, now I question, 14-8 with a 3.19. Framber Valdez, 13-6 with the 3.27. And you're making Houston a 185 favorite with this bullshit. Hard to go under 7.5. Framber Valdez is definitely pitching much better than Seth Lugo. But I hate to take Houston against Seth Lugo. I got to pass on it. It's really an under bet with the 2 good ERA pitchers, but we know Seth Lugo is I see Houston winning this game. Baltimore at Colorado. Jesus, here we go. Baltimore 145, over under 11. It's like softball City. Albert Suarez, 6-4 with a 3.18. Austin Gomer, he always gets killed. 4-9 with the 4.70. I got to go Baltimore here. 3 units. Seattle and California. Seattle 198 and a half. George Kirby 9-10 with a 3.48. Samuel Elder Geary 0-0 with an 0.08. I don't bet 0-0s with an 0.00. The Dodgers at Arizona. This is a critical series for first place. The Dodgers are up 4 games on them. Dodgers minus 138 and a half is curious at Arizona. Clayton Kershaw, the choke artist, 2-2 with a 3.72 against Zach Gallen. We're going to go under here. We're going to go Arizona under 8.5. We'll go 3 units. Clayton Kershaw, the biggest choke in the world. He's his bigger choker than Jared Goff. Miami at the 49ers. The 49ers 275-7. Who the hell is pitching? Juan Marshall? Adam Euler, 1-1 with a 5.23 against Miami. 5.23. Blake Snell, 2-3 with a 3.76, who had the no-hitter, I believe. Yeah, I can see why the Niners are a big favorite, but I can't play it, and I can't. Miami's been playing a lot of unders. I'm going to pass on this game. I don't like it. And that's it. So we've got Detroit over 9, 2 units. Atlanta under 7.5, 3. San Diego over 7.5, 3. Cleveland 3. Oakland over 8.5, 3. Minnie over 8, 3. Baltimore 3. Arizona under 8.5, 3 units. That's your baseball. So we did baseball, football, that. We did gold. Let's take another look at gold. And now we'll go to economics, the Austrian style. Gold's pumping up back to 25.03. Happy times. And silver, 26.86. I might run to the gold store tomorrow, buy a quarter ounce if they're open. These holiday weekends, they've been closing on Saturday. For some reason. So usually they're open, but I got a feeling they're closed tomorrow because of the holiday. So they've been like closed. They normally are closed Sunday, Monday. But when the holiday comes, I don't know why they take the Saturday off when they're closed Monday anyway. So it's really, I don't quite get it. They give them Saturday off for the holiday, but I think I'm looking at the quarter ounce of gold. I was looking at that. So we're changing gears. So sports were done, but you can please ask questions. Now we're going to economics for Pat and Luke and anybody else. Let's go to eBay. You should do gold and economics together. Well, I do. I just do gold no matter where I'm at. We could be talking about, health and ginger and garlic, and I'm still going to talk gold. It's mostly sports, but I'm going to give you the gold price. That's our religion. But now we get to economics, I'm going to give you the gold price. So now we go to the economics part. Now. So we've got your maple leaf, 26.23 for the 1 ounce. Krugerrand, 25.91. We got a quarter ounce Philharmonic at 6.67. We got the 1/10 of an ounce maple leaf at 2.86. I'm assuming the American's 300. Quarter ounce Krugerrand, 6.75. The American's about 700. There's the American, 705, basically. My Mantle card, 72,000. Our Rolex, 820,000. It's funny how they don't go down. They stay up. Nobody's selling their Rolex at 820. Half ounce, 1372 for the Eagle. That's about right. And this Rolex at 527. I love it. But the dollar, that's not worth anything. All right, we got a 1 ounce Maple Leaf 25.95, a 1 ounce Eagle 26.51. That's more what the Maple Leaf's probably sold out or whatever. Tenth of an ounce Cougaran 280, quarter ounce Eagle. That's probably what I'll buy. The quarter ounce Eagle 702 or the quarter ounce Maple Leaf, or I love the Philharmonics. Here's the quarter ounce Maple Leaf 696. So I'll be about 700. See, the funny part with the quarter ounces, even though the gold goes up, it went up from 2,400 to 2,500. The quarter ounce went from like 675 to 700. It really doesn't go up that much. So I mean, for buying purposes, I mean, it's still, like I said, I gave one to Alyssa, and it was $350 several years ago. And then when I saw her last week, I said, "Oh, but do you still have that quarter ounce gold?" She said, "Yeah, my mom's keeping it." So, well, it's worth 700 now, and she was like, "Oh my god!" And I says, "Well, I tried to get you into gold, but you didn't want to listen. Now it's too late." So that's your here's a $22,000 Rolex. So the Rolex come in all colors and shapes. All right, so let's go to Mark McGuire. All right, so Mark McGuire was on today with your guy's favorite guy, the cowboy Bill Holler, stealing more of my ideas. Guy kind of pisses me off.
Now, here's the stuff we kept in your Patriot Power Generator 2000X that over 84.
I hate these commercials. You're anticipating getting to the video, and you gotta wait for the stupid commercial, and all you're doing is waiting for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to skip it. Let's see. So let's go back. I think it's about. I didn't watch the whole thing because I haven't been home. Holler basically says he basically watches my videos, and now he's saying that the reason gold's good is because you can't inflate it. Well, he never said that before. Now all of a sudden he used to say it was no counterparty risk. Now he says, yeah, but it's the only thing you can't inflate. These guys, they get, it pisses me off because at least give me credit. If you're going to watch my show and use it, at least say, I got this from the professor. Nope, they can't do it. That's why they're all assholes. That's why I don't like them. So let's watch a little of Mark McGuire. Let's see. The manipulation of the market. Gold and silver are the only money without counterparty risk that you can't inflate. Well, yeah, we've never heard that one here. The BRICS 40% gold back. We'll listen to that. Sanctions and derivatives, whatever. The topic here is the manipulated markets. Well, we didn't know they were manipulated. We didn't know the derivatives ran COMEX. Really? Geez, we didn't know that. Kamala Harris proposed price controls. We don't need to hear that. I already went through it. Is silver the most important money? Well, that'll be the end. So let's go to where we're at. This is the manipulation of markets as a tool. We'll see. There was a part I wanted us to think. I think it's near the end of this. Let's go near the end of this. Okay, here we
need to take responsibility for yourself. Think about this. Now that you have this information, Bill, now that one has this information that you're telling people, and they realize that, hold on a minute, that money is only in my name on paper. Really, they should be doing something with that. They should be crystallizing it into something.
What they're talking about is bail-ins, which is what I told you, Luke, about your friend, that they're not going to give him his money. And everybody's in 401ks thinking they have all this money, and they don't. And the banks and or the stock market and or whatever are not going to give them their money. They're going to say, sorry, we're losing. We can't give it to you, which is my point with your friend. He doesn't realize that he's going to get screwed. He'll never get his 4 million. Now, if he would buy gold with this 4 million, he doesn't need it. He'd have it in his hands and nothing can happen to it. But he knows better than we do.
Well, really, gold and silver, really, that's what we live and breathe. It's the only real money in the world which has zero counterparty risk. And how many times do we need to learn this lesson? It's amazing.
Just once for us, Andrew.
And I look at the mainstream media, and like I watch Bloomberg all the time. And Bloomberg's great for trading, trade information, but it's a hell of a left-leaning organization, and it's constantly. I mean, it's so biased. It's ridiculous. I complain to them all the time about their bias, but I mean, it is really. It's worrying to me. This whole thing is really worrying, and there's a definite slant. And in fact, my son was watching. He was listening to Klaus Schwab the other day.
Klaus Schwab.
Well, I've got no worries anymore. I've got all the things in place. I can retire now. I've got all the people in place that I need to control everything. And now we're witnessing that. We're witnessing exactly what he's talking about. The bureaucrats, for the want to run everything. And in fact, that begs the question, Bill, who's running your country?
George Soros.
That's a good question, and I don't really know the answer to that. I would just say that, I mean, if you look with this upcoming election, if you look at Kamala Harris's background, I mean, she was one of the first district attorneys that was put into place, backed by George Soros, Schwab, etc.
Oh, so where did he hear that from? He's never said George Soros before until I keep saying it, right? George Soros is running the U.S. Don't be naive. Don't be stupid. Of course he is. So again, this guy, what does he do? He listens to my class, goes on, and then uses all my shit, the Titanic and everything. This guy pisses me off.
And now she potentially could be president. Getting back to what you were talking about, Jim Sinclair originally coined the phrase "get out of the system." He ran a clearing firm.
Don't know who this guy is. Jim Sinclair.
And back in, I think, 2004, 2005, started telling people, get out of the system. Keep low bank balances, get your stock certificates in hand, pretty much stay away from insurance products, and put your hard-earned savings in.
All right, we don't need to hear this guy say that. It's get out of paper, right? Get off the Titanic. That's my whole speech. Get off the Titanic, get out of paper. Own gold, own physical gold, buy physical gold, put it in your hand, put it in your safe, and we're all set. Nobody can fuck with us. So let's move on to gold and silver money. Well,
Gold and silver, not at a bank, not within the banking system. Either hold it yourself or do it through a private non-bank vault, because gold and silver are the only monies, as you mentioned, have no counterparty risk. And really what that means is they can't be inflated, they can't be printed, and they cannot go bankrupt.
I feel like I'm listening to myself. The guy's never said this before. I say it every day, and now he's saying it. It's just disgusting. Let's go to gold and silver. But this is the problem. This guy comes on. I've already heard all this. I already know it. This is what I teach. So what am I learning from this guy? What he's learning from me? I mean, it's just disgusting. All right.
Because gold and silver are the only monies, as you mentioned, have no counterparty risk. And really what that means is they can't be inflated, they can't be printed, and they cannot go bankrupt. You cannot wake up tomorrow morning and find.
I mean, I feel like I'm listening to myself, right? I mean, this is crazy. Luke, 26.26 on SD bullion. Yeah, so it's about $100 premium. If I went to my guy's store, it would probably be about that price. He's very consistent. He's usually under eBay. My guy's usually very good price. So if it's 2,500, it'll be probably about 26.10, 26.20. He doesn't copy me. Really? What did he just say? Everything that I say, he just said. What do you mean he doesn't copy me? This is the first time I've heard him say gold is, they always say counterparty risk because they don't understand what it means. It's the first time he said, well, it can't be inflated. I say that every day. So what do you mean he doesn't copy me? That's exactly what he's doing.
Now, the company created some product that kills people, and now the stock's worth zero. Gold and silver have been money for 5,000 years. They cannot bankrupt. If you get it out of the system, you're out of the system. And we're absolutely headed for central bank digital currencies all over the world.
No, we're not.
And just for the two of us doing this conversation, we would have our account shut off by this afternoon.
Yeah.
So just understand that owning gold and silver creates liberty for you. It creates
freedom,
options, creates choices.
Freedom.
It's wealth that cannot be denied to you.
Absolutely, and it is the only, and that enables you to be the person you are. That enables you to not hold yourself back from and having the courage to speak the things that you should speak. And really, this world would collapse into a heap if it wasn't for the people like yourself who stand up there and say, hear me because, or Jim Sinclair, or you have to, if you follow
or the professor,
if you
can
just
say it.
And you follow the mainstream media, you will know none of this. You will have a single moment. Yet, on the other hand, if you were to look at what happened in Cyprus, in the bail-ins there, where even if you had your gold in a vault, in the bank vault, if you went to get your, first of all, you went to get your gold, there'd be somebody there with you who'd have the other key, and they would confiscate your gold. So, as you say, keep it, if you're going to have physical gold and silver, be sure it's somewhere where you know it's independent. Your great state repatriated an awful lot of it.
Just put it in your safe. It's not that hard, Mark McGuire. So again, it's the same thing. Let's see, BRICS.
And I think we've reached, I noticed you've been following, very, very closely following and been well ahead of the curve on the BRICS gold-backed currency, which I think by no coincidence is about to launch on the 22nd of October ahead of the US election, if it happens, basically. And I know you've been following that.
But what he means is if the election happens, not if the gold-backed currency happens.
The effect that is, I think people underestimate the sheer effect of that much.
All right, listen up, Luke.
Being utilized as money is going to drive the price of gold. $3,000 is far too small an amount to actually do that. But Bill, just imagine. It boggles me. But just imagine when this gold becomes 40% back, 60% currencies, but whatever the unit is, and we know that the BIS is behind it too. So basically, if you then price oil, for example, backed in largely gold grams, then what the hell is the price of oil in dollars.
Thank you.
Because the Fed is still capping the price of gold to bolster the dollar. So suddenly, you're going to have, to me, it's a massively inflationary effect. And if oil suddenly doubled in price, like Prozar talked about it, doubling in price, could triple in price, that would implode the entire too big to fail derivative jumble.
Right. There's two sides to that. Right there, you're talking about the real economy.
Yeah.
And yes, it will absolutely implode the real economy. And I do want to mention, and I talked about this a little over a couple of years ago when we first had an inverted yield curve. Understand that we've had recessions without an inverted yield curve, but every time we've had an inverted yield curve, after it uninverts, we go into recession. And we have now experienced the longest inverted yield curve ever. So uninverting, I mean, this is going to be a disaster, and we're in the process of uninverting now. The 2s and 30s are
Okay, the point he doesn't make, it's going to be bad for people in dollars. The dollars will become worthless, so they'll become worthless. But if you're in gold, there's nothing everything will get priced in gold. You have gold, you'll be fine. It's only the people in the dollar who the dollar goes out and then everything goes to hell for people in dollars. The rest of us in gold and silver, we're sitting there going, it's fine. Doesn't affect us at all because we're not in dollars. So we're not playing that game. We're playing this game. We're playing the gold and silver game. Again, he's got to listen to me before he cleans that up.
Are basically flat. The 210s, they're still inverted. Now, as far as you're talking about the real economy, yeah, there will be instant hyperinflation, and a better way for the average person to think about that is an instant cut. 30%, 50%, who knows, 80, 90% drop in your standard of living. That's the first thing. Now let's look at the financial aspect of it. When the BRICS come out with their currency, what that's going to do is it's basically going to shut the credit spigot off to the United States. And you're basically going to have the Federal Reserve directly monetizing any and all Treasury debt that they need to borrow. And they're borrowing $1 trillion every 3 to 4 months. So, and let's go back a little bit. Isn't it convenient that the Fed and the Treasury were combined a couple years, 3 years back? So now they're in-house. So let's look at it as a pair of pants. It's the right-hand pocket borrowing from the left-hand pocket. So from a financial standpoint, you're going to see that this was entirely a Ponzi scheme from day one, and the model.
Where did he get that from? Jesus Christ! It's getting. I'm like watching myself. It's pathetic. Of course, it's a Ponzi scheme. Since 1971, they started printing money not backed by anything. It's a Ponzi scheme. This guy's just figuring it out now. I don't like this guy.
The best way to describe the model, it's the never pay model. Because all you have to do is create more dollars to make payment. And it doesn't cost you anything to create more dollars. So you're paying with something that's free for you to create.
Yes, it costs you because it becomes worthless. So you're printing money that's worthless. That's what he doesn't get. This is worthless. He thinks inflation's prices, I'm sure. This is the problem. You can't just keep printing this toilet paper. That's the problem. So you're printing it, and it blows up because nobody wants it. He hasn't listened to that part of me yet.
You never truly settle the trade. With a real currency like the BRICS currency, or any currency that's backed by gold or some type of commodity, you're giving a currency that's real for something that is real. And that's the reason the BRICS even started to begin with, is because the world was getting fed up of giving real products for nothing, for
Toilet paper.
pieces of paper or digital, digital amounts of dollars, euros, yen, what have you.
Well, the interesting thing is, this is only 45 market sessions away.
Right.
And people are asleep at the wheel. And of course, what we're already seeing every other central bank, global central bank, including the Bank of International Settlements, and all the Western and global South-facing central banks, everyone but the Fed is accumulating gold in size because they saw the writing on the wall. And it was so interesting because the Bank of International Settlements, on the 1st of January 2023, they obviously revalued gold as a first-year asset class. They were so ahead of the curve. They knew that this was going to happen. And to me, that was the actual divergent point that the Fed split from really what used to be the Bank of International Settlements. I mean, Benoit Gilson, we used to watch his footprints at 2 o'clock every morning, 6 o'clock our time. You'd see a sudden crash, and they were gaming the market, and they were all in it. There were 500 tons up to 700 tons of swaps. Closed them all, every single one of them, on the November, 1 month before they revalued gold as a first-year asset class. And yes, the Fed has come in and borrowed, maybe 116 tons or whatever, but it's on the Fed's balance sheet. But Bank of International Settlements is long gold. So to me, they knew. And when they saw Glasniev's currency being proposed, he proposed one of two. It was the option one was pretty much the kind of option that the BIS is standing behind with their Enbridge unit thing. And he also proposed the commodity, gold-backed commodity currency, which apparently is still on the cards in combination. But 45 days from now, all these central banks, well, what are we looking at? We're looking at higher and higher and higher and higher lows. Why? Because the central banks are buying. And it's like, these are higher stair steps. And 3,000, my liquidity providers tell me, well, nobody's selling anything, and 3,000 gold is a no-brainer. So this is, people are asleep at the wheel if they're not watching this.
I would just say if central banks all over the world have been actively hoarding gold, there's a reason for that. And all you have to do...
Silver, you have been such a strong proponent of silver for so long. You see that as one of the most important currencies, or that people can actually afford. Even everyday people can afford silver. So you see silver as obviously, from a physical market perspective, you have always said buy silver.
Yeah, well, I've said that because the ratio now is 85 to 1. It comes out of the ground, call it 9,
Nobody
10 to
cares
1.
about the ratio.
That's God's ratio. Man's ratio is 85 to 1. One of them's right and one of them's wrong. And when the curtain gets pulled back, we're going to find out that silver is far more valuable than it is currently portrayed as.
See, here he doesn't understand price fixing, does he? It's 85 to 1 because China is keeping the price of silver down based on the derivatives. Who gives a fuck about the ratio? The ratio is not important. The ratio is controlled by JP Morgan and the Chinese. We know silver's worth 1,000 to 2,000 an ounce. So you just keep buying it. The ratio is not important. The fact that price fixing it is the reason that you buy it, because it's worth far more than you can buy it for. That's why you buy it.
And there's been all kinds of monkey business. I mean, you testified in front of the CFTC. There's been monkey business from a financial standpoint, and there's even monkey business on reporting of demand. I mean, they're not even including demand now, for solar. And it looks like solar this year is going to use up like 500, 600 million ounces. The world only produces 800 or 900 million ounces. So it's been in a deficit for at least 3 years, but those deficits are far, far larger than what's being reported. We're going to find out that silver's way more valuable than it is currently portrayed.
Really?
And I think it's almost a no-brainer that the ratio is going to come down to 30 or 40, which means silver will double or triple the purchasing
Why, Bill?
power,
Why will it be go down?
gain that gold will have. It's going to be gold on steroids.
And with silver coins, for example, a very fungible barter instrument should all hell break down. Very, very powerful.
Exactly.
Well, Bill, do you know what? We've got to have a beer. I'll tell you what, a lot of beers one day, because honestly, this could be an all-night session. But I want to thank you for joining us and sharing. Really, you're so...
Okay, Mark, easy boy. So what does he tell you? So he tells you that it's going to be, but he doesn't give you the why. Why is silver going to be 10 to 1? Doesn't explain it, does he? See, that's my point with this guy. He can say stuff, but he can't explain it. That's what separates me from all these idiots. Basically, the demand, because gold will be so expensive, what he should have said, what he'll say next time, gold will be so expensive and people realize gold and silver are money. They will get rid of their fucking money, get off the Titanic and buy silver because it's affordable. And the demand for silver will raise the price. That's why it'll get to 10 to 1 differential. Good luck selling 10 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold, or if it gets to 10 to 1, good luck finding the gold at that point. But if you can, then it's I would sell my 10 ounces of gold that I paid $30 for and go buy an ounce of silver, an ounce of gold, which is $20,000 an ounce. So that's what we're going to do if we can find the gold. This is why I don't like these guys. What did he say? First of all, I thought I was listening to myself, except for he doesn't explain anything. Yeah, we know the BRICS gold back, and we know it's okay. So we got out of Mark McGuire that when BRICS comes out, the gold's going to go through the roof. Well, we kind of knew that. We don't know the exact figures, but we know October 22nd, we're going to be rich people. Your kids will be rich, Luke. Everybody will be rich. Your what was it? Your father-in-law or whatever will be rich. And our 401k guy, Kirk, not so rich. He'll be penniless going, I should have listened to Luke and the professor. That would have been the smart move. Anyway. Well, no, that's not Alligator. That's Mark McGuire. TK, will I be rich? Do you have any gold and silver? You keep saying you don't, and you have money. So no, you won't be rich unless you have gold and silver. Then you'll be rich. But right now you won't be. Hey, Pat. Jim Sinclair made a fortune in gold in 1980, and he sold it at $850. Poor guy. Sold it kind of cheap. That's why I don't want to sell mine at $25.20 or whatever it's at now. Let's see, where's our gold at now? Gold's at 25.02 at 620. And we need a more current at 630. It's 537. There we go. 25.03. Coming up. Let's say the silver chart just for the hell of it. Look at silver, how it got crushed. It was at 29.58, and at the 8 o'clock time when the gold went down, the silver goes down $1, well, 80 cents. Now it's at 28.86. It should be, you got up to 29.50. This is the point. There's no protection for the silver like there is in gold. So you can see it's the same 8 o'clock drop, but gold doesn't drop and then kind of comes back. So again, 25.03. Monday will be huge because Labor Day holiday, the U.S. won't be playing and doing this bullshit derivative. We haven't seen it most of the week. We've seen an 8 o'clock drop, but we haven't really seen this 10 o'clock, 25.16 to 24.90. It went down, but it only went down $20. Last month, it went down like $60, right? It went from 24.89 to 23.79 or something. Well, we didn't see it this time. We're not seeing 24. We get a little 24.96. It's basically shot back up to 25.03. Monday is going to be huge because China will buy. London maybe plays little games, and the U.S. is closed, so they can't drop it. Now it'll come back to haunt us Tuesday or Wednesday, but Monday should be a very happy day for us on our way to 2,600. So again, Mark McGwire is kind of worthless to watch. Bill Halter, we learned nothing. He can't explain anything. He's like the rest of like Andy Scheckman. He talks about it, but he can't explain anything. So what's the point of listening? After listening to him, can you explain anything? No. What can you? Mark McGwire at least says, yeah, 40% back gold, October 22nd, the gold price is going to go up. That's why I listen to Mark McGwire. Bill Halter, what did he say? They maybe he'll do bail-ins or maybe this. He doesn't say anything. That's what I get out of him. I don't learn anything from him. All he's doing is taking my concepts and repeating them, trying to take credit for it. That's what I can't tolerate. 25.02, nice. Yeah, well, that's the spot price. So it's it's going to go to 3,000 and on its way to 10,000. Like I said, when BRICS comes out, what he doesn't understand, so I'll just explain it on my own. The competition between the dollar and gold, everybody will want gold. Once gold's out there, nobody's going to want the dollar. There'll be no demand. Therefore, their price will be zero on the dollar. And everybody goes to gold, and the demand will push the price way up. COMEX should blow up. Hopefully, although silver, again, he didn't say anything about silver that would make you want to buy it. But silver will jump because gold will get, gold hits $5,000 an ounce. People will go, oh, I can buy silver. That's money too. And they'll jump in silver at $30 an ounce until it's $500, $1,000 an ounce. Because everybody will wake up and realize their dollars are worthless. That's the real key that he doesn't explain. But that's why you have the professor. I got to cover these idiots. And that's why I get frustrated. They say stuff. They don't say anything new that we don't already know. Right? You print the money to zero. You can't just keep printing money. He seems to think that too. You can't keep printing money. It's worthless. So he doesn't understand what inflation is. And, what are you going to say? Yes, George Soros, where did he hear that from? Is who's running our country. And he runs a lot of the countries. He holds how do you think the French guy won the election? He won with less votes. I mean, it's insane. George Soros controls all the elections, period. So how do we vote in our election? Now, this Bill Halter says, oh, we won't have an election. Why won't we have an election? So what are they wasting time? Why won't Trump have an election? Of course he'll have an election. There would be no reason not to have how do you not have the election? So what happens? Biden's the winner. It certainly can't go to Kamala Harris and it can't go to Trump. So who does it go to? George Soros becomes president of the United States, or she becomes president of the United States? Again, and we won't have a CBDC in the U.S. That's not going to happen. It can happen. The banks aren't going to allow it. The central bank goes to the banks, and the banks come to us. There is no CBDC. What a moron. Who will George Soros want to win? George Soros. He wants Adolf Hitler to win. He's a Nazi. That's who he wants to win, and that he'll fix it for whoever will listen to George Soros. He would want Kamala Harris to win because she'll listen to him. She'll be the same puppet as Biden. She's listening to him now. That's where she gets her ideas. Oh, we'll fix the prices. You're the idiot who made the prices go up. We're going to fix them now. How are we going to fix them? You can't fix it. You put the debt up and you got dollars not backed by gold. You can't fix the debt. You can't fix the prices. Never works. Pat, in a national emergency, you could postpone the election. What's the national emergency? World War III with Russia? Well, we're already there. The currency collapsing because BRICS coming out in October. Is that a George Soros? Is he telling BRICS to come out with the gold-backed currency so it collapses? I doubt they're going to listen to George Soros. The Chinese hate him and Putin hates him, so I doubt that's going to be done. So in an emergency, you postpone the like what Zelensky did, where it's martial law in Ukraine. That wouldn't surprise me, but I think Trump would go ballistic if they didn't have an election. Here he's running, unless he's part of the plan, he's running as if there's an election. So I'm not quite sure that just ends. So we will see. Hard to say. But I think the country blows up because of no currency. If you don't have the currency, you don't have the economy. Then you don't have a country anyway. You can't get paid at work. You can't pay your bills because you don't have money. So there's a need for USD number 2 and BRICS and Euro. So they need number 2 of these so they can still have the medium of exchange, although nobody will trust it. They won't be worth shit. They'll last a few months and then it's still not backed by gold. So the key is to get backed by gold. You think it's War of the Patriot Act? I don't know that much about it. I know finance, but we're already at war. So we're fighting Russia and it looks like Iraq and Israel. So why don't they just cancel it now? What are they waiting for? Either way, BRICS will have the upper hand with all the gold. That's what controls everything. You think the currency implodes before November? No, it'll in October. That's why BRICS is coming out October 22nd. That's when the currency implodes. It won't have a thing. Puppet show the last 3 years. I'm going to say puppet show the last 20 years since Clinton. All these guys are puppets. I mean, that's what you got to worry about. As soon as there's lobbyists involved, I don't think Reagan was a puppet, but after him, maybe not George Bush Sr., because he had a lot of money. After that, Clinton for sure was a puppet. He just took the money and ran. And Hillary can't. I don't know why she can't get elected. I assume it's because everybody hates her, and I don't know. But basically, George Soros is the puppet master. So don't forget that. I think T has also negotiated with SA, China, UK, Vulcan, and more for a global fair gold-backed currency. Who's T? Mr. T? South America, or is that South Africa or Saudi Arabia? Which SA are you talking about? China, the UK. The UK is not involved with this. The Vatican's very much involved with the gold. A global fair gold-backed currency. It started George Bush Sr. former CIA director. Yeah, well, the lobbyists, but yeah, there's been puppets going on, and it's finally crashing because you can't run the economy like this. You can't have all these lobbyists running everything. There's no law. Everything's chaos. So yeah, I don't, it doesn't surprise me that, when I was in school in 95, they were talking Social Security was broke or it had very little life left. So here it's 2025, 2024, it's still there. This national debt, I mean, this is where I'm talking about the currency. You can't have a national debt of $36 trillion and not affect anything. You can't just keep printing money. The money becomes worthless. So I really don't get anything. Yeah, Soros is clearly running the U.S. into the ground, and all these other guys are getting rich, like Gates and Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett. I mean, they're all idiots. They don't know. They're programmers. Well, Zuckerberg and Gates are programmers. They don't know anything about finance. They don't know 2 and 2 is 4. They're not running shit. They're not smart enough to run shit. So they are basically, the basic thing is to get out of the grips of the dollar. So the dollar controls everybody unless you're not in the dollar. So we found the secret passage out, gold and silver. They can't fuck with us because they can't take it. They don't even know we have it. And it's going to go through the roof because all this for every country, all this bullshit is worthless. It's all going to go worth. This is going to worth that. They all go worthless. Did you hear that Cowboy Bill guy say that? No, I guess you forgot that, or you didn't listen to the show. Hey, Christmas, how have you been? Greg and John. So Professor, the next 60 days will be very turbulent. Well, we're all going to get rich in the next 60 days. TK, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Greg and John. Christmas, nice to see you again. Happy Friday. Happy Labor Day weekend, everyone. Thank you, Christmas. I can't wait for October for Brooks' announcement. It looks like gold 2,500 per ounce is new base. I've been loading up on gold maple leafs on eBay. Oh, you're welcome, Christmas. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the best price because even though the U.S. is higher by $20, $30, when you go to sell it, you'll get $20, $30 more for it, but you'll still make relatively the same on the maple leaf for a while. Once the shit hits the fan after October and gold hits 10,000 an ounce, they don't give a fuck what it is. So this is where you're really going to get the steal on the Cougarans and the Maple Leafs and the Philharmonics. You paid more for the Eagle, but you're not going to recover more. Gold will be 10,000 an ounce for any of the coins. That's why I tell you, don't buy those MS-70s or those graded coins. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. There won't be the value in it. The value will be in the gold at 5,000 an ounce. You're going to get 5,000. If it's graded, you're really not going to get the premium because it's a graded coin. You're not getting the premium. So just pound it. If you don't have a store to get it, I prefer, when you go to sell it, you'll be able to sell it on eBay. It's better if you just go into a store. My store is 5 miles away. When it hits a certain point, if I want to sell any of it, I'll just go there and say, give me my money. And he'll give me my money because I bought it all from him. So he knows it's good. I'm not worried. See, if I go into the store, he knows it's real. If you go to Joe Blow at some jeweler, he might not know it's real. Go to a pawn shop. He won't know it's real. So therefore, you might struggle getting your money's worth. But if you go to a dealer who you bought it from, he'll give you the spot on it. Now, they might play games and say, well, I'll give you 98% or 95%, whatever. And you go, well, I bought it for $1,700 and then you're going to give me 10 grand. Yeah, that's fine. You can steal $20 off of me. Greg or John, gold is going to hit 10,000 soon. Well, let's see what happens in October. Christmas Eve sounds good. Luke, I just got delivery conference of my own, confirmation of my ounce shipping from SD Bullion. Professor got me scared shitless and have been stacking since. Well, no, now you don't need to be scared. You've got the gold. I mean, yeah, stocks you got to worry about. And again, you have no worry. You've got the gold, right? Will the stock go up? The stock's going to crash. That's the point I've been making. But the gold's fine. Your gold, you have physical, you got it in your safe, you got it under your bed or whatever, and nothing can happen to it. And as you can see, when BRICS comes out, we just heard Mark McGuire saying it's going to the moon. It's going to go up. It won't see 3,000. It'll be much higher. He doesn't want to give a number. I'm giving you a number, probably 5 to 7,500, on its way to 10, on its way to 20, on its way to when the dollar goes out. We'll have to see how it gets valued, because BRICS will then control the gold price on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and they don't need dollars. So how much is it going to be worth on the gold-backed currency that BRICS throws out? With eventually gold being the commodity that is pricing it. So things won't be priced in dollars. It'll be priced in gold. As you said about oil, how much is oil going to be? But that's my whole point about everything. You go to the grocery store, it's all going to be priced in silver. There's no barter. How can there be barter? What are you going to do? Okay, Kroger's, what are you selling your milk and eggs for? $2? Well, there is no dollars. So what are you selling it for? Oh, well, I'll take barter. I'll take silver. You can't, that's not how it works. You got to have a price for it. And silver won't be the $30 an ounce when I go get barbecue. It's going to be $2,000 an ounce. So how much are your ribs? 1/10 of an ounce of silver for a slab of ribs. That's where it's headed. Everything will be priced in gold and silver. It has to be, because the dollar's worthless. Now they'll probably come out with a USD2, which nobody will want because nobody wants the first one. So they'll use that as a scam to say, oh, look, we're, okay, so the debt's all paid off, and now we've got USD number 2. And if you believe that bullshit, I got the oceanfront property in Detroit to sell you. So be very careful what these idiots try. Egos are legal tender according to the U.S. Constitution. Yes, if they follow the rule book, I agree, Luke. Absolutely. So is silver. Thanks, Greg and John, and happy early birthday to you. Greg and John, sounds good, Luke. You're doing great with your gold investments. So, Greg and John, you haven't answered the question. You've told me you're broke and you have no money and you want to be rich. Somewhere you want to be. TK, will I be rich? Well, if you have gold and silver, you'll be rich. If you don't, your dollar will be worthless. So it's all up to you. Do you want to hold dollars that are worthless or gold and silver that are going up to the moon? So you decide, but it's up to you, Greg and John. So that's really it. I mean, you must get out of dollars. That's the most premium thing you can do. Get out of dollars. And if you need to buy more silver than gold, fine. If you can buy gold, you don't need to buy ounces. I'm going to go buy a 1/4 ounce tomorrow if they're open for about $680 and dance my way out of the thing. I think the gold market is closed. Let's see. Closed around 6. Yeah, market closed 25.03. The market's closed. Silver 28.86. Buy it as much as you can at that price. And the same thing here, as much as you can at this price. Soon you'll see a 0 after this and a 0 after that. 25.030. That's where we're headed to. But don't wait. You can't wait and say, well, I'll buy it. No, you buy it now. I've been buying since, $250 and then about $1,700, knowing what's going to happen. And so I don't care that I made $800. That's not my goal. My goal is when it hits 20,000, and it's really it's protection. I'm not going to lose 100,000 in the bank because I don't have any money in the bank. I've gotten out of dollars. So I can't lose because I've gotten away from the dollars and into the gold. And the gold's only going up and the dollar's only going to zero. So I can't lose, and that's the point. And that's all you need. It's like betting a football game that's fixed. You can't lose. Only this is 10 times better because nobody knows you bet it. Nobody has a clue you own an ounce of gold. That's why you normally buy it with cash. Be careful using your credit cards because then they know you bought it. Me, I go take 10 grand to my guy. He gives me the coins. I don't want a receipt. I don't use my name, and he's pretty cool about that. And I used to get 8 ounces for my 10 grand. Now it's like what, three and a half. Pretty soon it'll be 1. And then you won't be able to buy any with 10 grand. You'll need 20 grand. That's when you'll really wake up. Like I said, so every $100 we make, if you have 50 ounces, you make $5,000. If you have 100 ounces, you make $10,000. If you have 20 ounces, you make $2,000. What an investment. You make $2,000, let's say, every $100 gold goes. So from 2,400 to 25, you made $2,000. When it goes to 30, you made 10 grand. But gold doesn't give dividends. Yeah, I heard that. Do we fucking care? Absolutely not. We don't want dividends. We just want the price to go where it should. That's the beauty of it. So you're really getting out of dollars. I'm happy for you, Christmas, that you understood and you bought. And that's really my goal, is to teach you in a way that you understand it, not in a way like Bill Haller does, where you go, why, Bill? Why is this going to happen and that going to happen? So you guys know because you hear me say it. And then when he says it, you go, yeah, the professor already said, and he said the why. So he finally said, well, gold's tier 1 because it can't be inflated. Well, he never said that before. That's very critical because you need to know why is gold, the why is gold and silver the it's. Why are they going to go up? What do you mean no counterparty risk? Nobody knows what a counterparty risk is. But if you say you can't inflate it, people then get the answer going, oh, you can't inflate it, so it's good to have. It's a lock to have the gold and silver. Okay. Luke, I haven't been taking company 401k 3% on my 6% in years, keeping my dollars hostage. Exactly. That's the whole game. They want you in a 401k and in the stock market so they can make all this money from you. Luke just gave us another $1,000. Here's your 200. Here's your 200. Here's your 200. Luke, you get to keep 400 of it, and the company matches it. Who gives a fuck? That's why is the company matching it? What is their incentive there? Right? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So yes, you in gold, it's all yours, and you make a lot more than the 6% match that they give you. Like I said, you just made, if you had 50 ounces of gold, you just made $5 grand on your gold going up $100. And if you got it at 1,800, you've now made $700, which is 7 times 50 is $35,000 if you bought it at 1,800. Are you even looking at that? Probably not. You're just going, oh, gold's at 2,500. Yeah, you just made 35,000. Now, we know dollars are worthless, but still, it's a nice thing. Greg and John, my grocery store gives fake gold and silver coins for gas reductions. I don't know what that means. Pat, so could the euro or the franc also collapse? Let's put it this way, Pat. This is collapsing. This is collapsing. The British pound's collapsing. The yen's collapsing. The yuan's already in collapse. The Swiss franc's collapsing. Germany, Italy's collapsing. British pound's collapsing. All of them are collapsing. They're all toilet paper that gets overprinted. And George Soros wants them all to collapse. So all of them are collapsed. That's why gold's going to go to the moon, is because as all these countries the currency starts collapsing, they're all going to run to gold. They're not. When I'm in Germany, everybody understands gold. They seen what Hitler did, and they're not going to get caught again. So they all love gold there. And believe me, Britain's the same way. And it's all these Muslims that come over that don't get it, and but the regular Brits get it, but not the Indians and the Muslims. They don't get it. So that's really where we're at with it. It's all collapsing. I mean, but the U.S. is the biggest player, but we're gonna. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter what order. If Germany goes first, and then the British pound, the Canadian, the Maple Leaf's already gone. If all that's gone, then there you go. I mean, so then the U.S. collapses. We wouldn't have anybody to trade with anyway. But we're not going to – who's going to trade with us? All the BRICS countries aren't going to trade with us. Canada has no money. The UK's broke. Germany's broke. So nobody has money to trade anyway, except for the BRICS people who don't want any part of the U.S. dollar. End of story. Craig or John, TK, what is the best baseball pick tonight? Pat, this year already. So could the euro or the franc also collapse this year already? Yeah, I mean, so they all will collapse. Again, we don't know the exact timing. With BRICS coming out with the gold-backed currency in October, yeah, I mean, most of them will probably collapse November, December, for sure. We will see, but absolutely. Because nobody will want it. Everybody, 159 countries want to join BRICS. That's 159, not including named China, Russia, India, and Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. So why would they want US dollars or British pounds or any of that shit? All the printed paper West, they're trying to collapse the West. So nobody's going to want the West dollars. And therefore, all of it collapses because there's no demand. Again, I have this. If I try to sell it and nobody wants to buy it, it's worthless. That's the main point you have to understand. There must be demand for the product you're selling. So if I'm trying to sell this and nobody wants it, it's not worth anything. Because the little gold fella is going to come out and they're all going to drool and go, I want that. That's what I want, is the gold. And the price of gold to come out and put out gold-backed currency, not digital Bitcoin bullshit, but regular currency, the amount of gold you need, gold's got to be valued, 7,500, 10,000. There's too many people to come out at 2,500. Gold priced in the U.S. is not meant for them to have a gold-backed currency. It's meant to keep the price down, to keep you in the dollar, to keep you in your 401ks. So you're in your 401k, your buddy there, Luke, and he's got $4 million. He doesn't understand to get it out and go in gold because he's got so much money in his 401k. He can't understand, why would I sell it for gold? Gold doesn't move. I won't make money on gold. He's still at the thought of making money. He's not at the thought of saving money. This is his problem. We all understand we got to get out of the dollar because we need to save. We need to save our wealth. If we have 500 grand in dollars and we've converted it into gold, not only is the 500 grand now worth 700 or 800,000, we're not going to lose the 500 grand by having it in the dollar. That's the point of what we're doing, is getting out of the depreciating things worth zero and getting into the thing that's going up. It says we're on the up elevator. It's the perfect storm for us right now. We're getting out of the dollar, which has had 99% of its value gone. I say 100 because I know what's coming. Like every other currency in the world, Roman, Spanish, everything has all gone to zero if it's not backed by gold. And it's not backed by gold. It has to go to zero because it's just printed. It's just toilet paper. That's all it is. So you're getting out of it, and you got to put it somewhere. So yeah, you can buy Rolexes and Mano cards, but buy some gold and silver also. Things that are not going to lose value, and based on demand and based on low supply, you're not going to lose value in any of those. And then you go with the gold, and now the gold's going up in value. And in October, it's going to go from, if it's probably will be $3,000 by then, probably up to 7,500. And you're going to be sitting there, and your dollar will be worthless. So you've just transferred. So you protected yourself by getting out of something that's going to zero for getting into something going up to 7,500, 10 from 2,500. So you're going to make a 300% on your money, even though gold doesn't give a dividend. That's a shame. So you're going to get a 300% kick going from 2,500 to 7,500. But everybody sees it as printed as derivative money, and so they go, well, it doesn't move. Well, that's because the U.S. comes in with their puts knocking the price down. That's why gold doesn't move, but that's ending. And when BRICS announces and it ends the COMEX, there's no down. It's all going up because China and Russia want the price higher because they got all the gold. And that basically ends the Western world as we know it. And, so those with gold will be fine. And those without gold will all be acting like, oh, Madoff was a Ponzi scheme. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought it was a coincidence I was making 15% every month on the Madoff fund. I thought, well, this is great. I get 15. Isn't that how it works? I mean, that's the whole point. Then when he finally leaves and it falls apart, they're crying, oh, all my money, because I thought he was real. I thought it's normal that you get 50% on your money every month, as Madoff was giving me. So I don't want to hear all the crying that, well, I lost $2 million in the stock market or in my 401k. I thought it would go on forever. I didn't think we needed gold. That never moves up. This is what the problem is that people don't get. And I didn't hear that from the Bill guy. I didn't hear him explain any of this shit. Well, wait, he'll listen to this show, and then next week he'll start explaining it. That's what it is. So all the gold guys know what's going to happen. Well, it could be this year, Pat, because of the BRICS currency that's variable X. You've never had BRICS before. You've never had a gold-backed currency since 71. So that's the variable that will break the camel's back. And the camel is the Titanic, and this is the Titanic being broken by them printing the money. So even you heard Bill say, well, they can just keep printing and printing money and nothing will happen. Bullshit, nothing will happen. The value goes to zero. That's what'll happen. So he doesn't get that part. That's why I don't listen to him. That's what happens. You can't just keep printing and printing and printing. Why does he say that? I mean, he's out of his fucking mind. We know that. We know they've already printed too much now. You got a $36 trillion debt, and people it goes right over their head. Yeah, but I got money in my 401k. Yeah, that's going to be worth a lot. How are we going to pay off the debt again? We don't have to pay it off. Bullshit, you don't have to pay it off. So that's the big problem. Pat, you are right. Why else would the biggest players pile up record amounts of physical in both gold and silver in a hurry? Well, I mean, we've been doing it in our sweet time over the last 3 years. Exactly. I mean, Luke's good because he's working, so he keeps getting money in, and his money's worthless. So he gets paid. He takes his money. It's worthless. He pays his bills with worthless money, and then he takes his savings and buys gold with it or silver with it. So he takes worthless dollars, and what's going to happen soon, Luke's going to get paid and he's going to go to the gold store and they're not going to take it. They're going to say, I don't want that crap. Don't give me that crap for gold and silver. And that's what I'd be doing. If I owned these silver or gold stores, I wouldn't want dollars. I know the dollar's worthless. It's got no value. How the fuck is 2,500 or okay, $100, $2,600 for an ounce of gold? Are you insane? I wouldn't take it if it was I would take the gold, but I wouldn't sell it for dollars. I mean, that's absurd. And that's the part that people don't get. And soon your buddy Luke maybe he sells $1 million to buy $1 million of gold. Won't be worth anything. They won't take it. That's coming sooner than we think, probably around BRICS time. When that price goes and you try to buy it with $10,000, good luck. I don't think they'll sell it to you. I don't think they want your dollars. I think they'll realize the dollars are worthless. The idiots at my gold store don't understand the dollar's worthless. So they'll take the dollar for the gold. I give them $2,600 and they'll take it for the gold. And what is Kenzie here? Who's hurting me? Interesting. I'm getting all these hurts and stuff. But that's the whole point. It's the so in Luke, in your buddy's case, if he waits too long, so right now we can give him the worthless crap, and they're going to give us money for it, right? But that's not going to happen soon. So he's going to sit on 4 million monopoly dollars, and he's going to try to move some of it into gold. If he gets smart enough, he'll probably go, I'll wait till it goes up. So as this 4 million goes to 2, I will bet Luke that as the 4 million goes to 2, the 2 million, he'll take the 2 to buy gold or silver. Nobody's going to take it. Nobody's going to want, after October, they're not going to want the dollar because they'll realize it's worthless. So why should I take 10,000 monopoly money for gold and silver? That's what you also got to be careful. That's why you can maybe get 10 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold. We'll see if they still have gold. But why would they take dollars for it? That's not worth anything. Would you? I wouldn't take dollars. If I work, I'd take dollars only if I can pay my rent and utilities in dollars. I don't know how much longer that's going to be. So we will see. TK, you're getting hearts and is your girl on here? I don't know who's sending it. I don't see her, so I don't know what's happening. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen her. They don't normally come in. They're in Europe, so it's not Daria or Jenna. Maybe somebody I blocked or something. So that's where we're at. I have a new lover. I don't know. Not that I know of, but maybe. We'll see. Kuselmo, do you have gold or silver, or are you still in the dollar or whatever your currency is, wherever you are? Keep in mind, all the currencies are going to zero. They're all printed to zero. That's what happens. That's why the dollars go out. They're printing to zero. You can't just keep printing, and you can't have a $36 trillion debt. It doesn't work like that. I trade in milk. Okay. Chocolate milk or regular milk or skim milk? So if you trade in milk, see how much milk to buy gold? Chocolate balls. Okay. How many to buy your ounce of gold do you need? You trade in milk with the chocolate balls. Okay. So anyway, that's the problem, is they don't want to tell you that they can't just keep printing because they're the ones printing it. So they won't tell you if we keep printing it, it goes to zero. Then it shows they're idiots, which we already know they're idiots. See, we're able to understand that the feds are a bunch of idiots. Janet Powell and Boog Powell and Janet Yellen have no idea what they're doing. And the guy, the Secretary of Treasury, or whoever that idiot is, they're all clueless. They're all George Soros guys. Putin, do you realize what Putin does? Putin, right? He leads Russia, and his associates or the guys around him are all morons. So he never has to worry about, because it's like Kamala Harris, right? If you get Biden out of there, you get Kamala Harris. And that's how Putin is. If you get Putin out, you get Kamala Harris in Russia. And nobody wants Kamala Harris in Russia. She's a fucking idiot. So that's what Putin does. He surrounds himself with morons, but he's smart enough that he doesn't need them. For a nice woman, it's 3 chocolate balls. For ugly, it's 1.5. He's in his parents' basement, I guess. How much dollars we need to pay for poontang? Are you talking about poontang in Russia? No, but not certain. In Russia, I'm talking about Putin, not poontang. Putin, the leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin, the big guy with all the gold and all the houses and all the boats and cars and everything, the leader of Russia, Kusamo. I don't know if you're trying to lighten the load or what here, but we don't really waste time here. So this is the point. You got to get out of the dollar and get into gold. So you're basically trading to get out of one into another. That's the only thing you can do. But we'll see. As far as everything else, as long as you got gold, I would, like you said, don't leave it in any safety deposit box at a bank or federal government building. They'll close it, take your gold, and that'll be it. You won't be able to get in, so you can't trust the bank to give you your money or give you anything in your security box. So you just have a safe at home. Nobody knows where you live. Nobody knows you got anything. So, it's great. So what if you got a normal house and you got a Picasso? Where do you put it, in the safety deposit box or on your wall? Right? So you put it on your wall. You're not afraid of somebody stealing it. Anyway. Okay, Kusama. Enough of that. So we got football tonight. I got one game played. I got a bunch played tomorrow. So if you buy the weekend's Monday. So you get all that. So we can either do a class or you just buy the picks. Mostly right now, I've gotten a lot of people buying the picks more than the class. I'm a little confused by that, but we'll see. People got to get used to it. And, maybe they're waiting for next week when the pros start. But that's where we're at with that. So get in on that. I know people are clever trying to read my voice inflections on the games going, oh, that's who he's picking. You have no idea who I'm picking. And I'm not giving out picks when I go through the games. I'm merely putting out, this could be high scoring or low scoring. Doesn't mean it's a pick. And we will see. But anyway, I know how you guys operate. I'm going to Capitol Grill in Pittsburgh tonight. Got to roll. Enjoy, y'all. Oh, okay, Luke. Well, enjoy. Sounds good. Wish I was going with you. Kusama, I'm going to burn my dollars. Well, no, take your dollars and buy gold and silver with them. Don't burn them. They're worthless now. So go get something of value, gold and silver. Bon appetit, Luke. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to do college football. and we'll see if there's a class, if I get people to sign up for it. Otherwise, I won't have a football class yet. I'll wait till I have a class. And we'll go through the line, and then we can go a little economics. Kusamo is like, you like the dollar? I will buy all your dollars for a penny. They're not worth a penny, Greg and John. And what kind of dollars, Kusama? I mean, what we don't even know what currency he's in. Is he in dollars? Is he in yen? Is he in yuan? We'll have to see what he's got. But he wins. You give him a penny, he wins. Because he can. The value of the copper is worth more than the paper. All right. So again, college football tonight. We've got Michigan State 13 and 45 to Florida Atlantic. We had Oklahoma 42.5, 57.5 to Temple. Wisconsin with Tyler Van Dyke, the new quarterback, 23-50 and over under 56. TCU is -8 and 60 to Stanford. Those are your 4 plays today. The TCU game's on at 10:30. And then we got tomorrow's games. And I know Penn State, West Virginia is a noon game. So I'll be on at 10 for those games. We'll basically look at injuries and we'll look at the line movements in the games. If you buy today, tonight, tomorrow morning, the picks are posted. You'll get the picks. At the lines I posted them at. So on Monday, when I saw the line, I made the bet. That's the line I'm using for me, and you will get the line that's out there when you bought. I always say buy early because you get the better line, which I normally do. Luke, we'll be there soon enough, Professor. Have a good evening. Okay, enjoy. You got the Steelers next week, so I'm excited about Russell Wilson. Hopefully he'll play better. Greg and John, are coins worth more? It's not the coin, it's the copper. The copper's worth more than the paper. Keep in mind, this is just toilet paper with a 1 on it and a president. This is worthless. Paper's worthless just because it has a 1. Just because this says a €5 with some bridge on it, it really has no value. This isn't worth anything. It's just a piece of paper, right? So I could print a piece of paper and put a 5 on it. I could put paper 5 and say it's worth $5. Is it? No. That's what the one coiners and the Bitcoiners think. You just have digital. You don't even have anything. That's where I intercede with the Bitcoiners. You don't have anything, so it's not worth anything. All right, I think I'm going to have my dinner. I'm not going to Capitol Grill, unfortunately, but we will do that. The Steelers will win. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens next week and how Russell Wilson plays. And Atlanta, if they are using Cousins, they're going to be in big trouble. They need Penix. It's obvious to me, but yet the coaches fucked up. They paid Cousins $45 million. I don't know why. And here's Penix, who's 10 times better, and you're not going to play him because you're not paying him? Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck going 4-14 this year. Sam Hartman got hurt. What kind of injury? He's good. He's better than most of them. I'll have to check that injury out. All right. He got signed to the practice squad for Washington. So is it a serious injury or not? He'll be playing. He's at the wrong team though, because they have Jalen Daniels. He'd be much better off at New England, the Giants, or Minnesota, Hartman. Thanks, Pat. You too. Good morning. You're going to wake up soon, I think. So what is your schedule? You're getting up early with me, or you're going to sleep after me? I mean, here it's 6:30, so I'm getting up, I'm having dinner, and I'll go to sleep later. And it's weird with the Russian and the Ukraine girlfriends, because they're 6, 7 hours ahead. So that's why sometimes I'm texting. It's 3 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, and they're going to sleep there. Jenna didn't have any electricity when she got back, so she's got a 20-hour train ride after a 12-hour bus ride. She gets home. There's no electricity, so she's going nuts. She was able to go to the store. I guess they have generators at a bar or something, so she's able to go there to at least be with light and charge her phone. But it's crazy. But they're not bothering her in her city. It's just the big cities. Giants need a quarterback. Hell yes. Both. You get up early and go to bed. Sleep before and after. Okay. Well, again, you can always, it's good you can communicate live with me, and you can always watch the show. It's always on video. You can watch it whenever you want. But again, Mark McGuire, see, this is the problem with Mark McGuire and that guest. It's the same thing I've already taught, and then he can't elaborate on it. So it's just him repeating everything I said. What am I listening to? So I really wanted to hear Mark McGuire said October 22nd, gold is going to go through the roof. That's the part that I listened to for. Anyway, so that's about it. I don't know if I'll go to the lake and walk. My foot's been bothering me. It's getting better. I think I want to rest it tonight and then see about tomorrow, how it feels when I wake up. And then I can go get my pills. I get the colchicine. It should be ready at the Kroger's tomorrow. Well, it's probably ready now, but I'm not going to go back. Chinese food tomorrow, football tomorrow. So I usually changes my day. I'll go to the pool early, go get Chinese, and then watch the late afternoon and night games. And then on YouTube, you can watch all the games. But that's me, football. So we will see next Thursday. Pro football starts, and it should be exciting what's going on there. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. I'll see you in the morning, about 10-ish. TK and rolling with Roll Tide. No, not with the Roll Tides. I don't like the Roll Tides. I hate Alabama. I was working there, and I picked Georgia to beat them, and Georgia kills them. Not one person there said good pick or nice job or anything about that, or how did you do that? They're all a bunch of egomaniac idiots. So don't like the Alabama people at all. All right, I am ending, and I got some chicken I can eat for dinner, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Like I said, 10 o'clock, we'll look at the college, and gold, we already know it ended, so we're waiting till Monday. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. Have to figure that out. So anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. If you're betting and you want to get into the football, just go into the picks and pick what the package you want. College for the week, probably, or you can do the year. I had a guy do college for the year. You can do college for the month, or just sign up for the class just to see how that works. All right. Have a nice night. Take care.